right? So I was just listening today.
You might need to backstep a little bit and just do that again, because I cannot retain information in that way. I have to listen to it 3 or 4 times, or read and listen to it.
Okay, I will send you the recording as well for this one. Mm-hmm. So this guy is from Canada. He's been doing it for a couple of years, right? His name is Adam, and he's the Reclaim Your Securities. And this is actually in part 13. I'm going to upload it here as well. Now, what he's saying, so I have got the highest claim to in control of my foundational security. When you registered, you do the UCC 1 filing, security agreement is the evidence that I, via my proxy, hold the highest claim to in control of and over my foundation document, which is your birth certificate, security. I am in the driver's seat. No, I have the control over and over this, even though I don't hold it, right? So what's happening, and today I got it, this UCC 1. When you do this filing, okay, you take control over your birth certificate. So you become pretty much the driver, or you become who's controlling, because right now, everything is controlled by the so-called government, the so-called agencies. We are the trustee. And I had a court case just a couple of weeks ago when actually the assessor appointed me as a trustee on the court of record when I told him that I'm the executive beneficiary. Okay, so it was trust of breach law and trust of contract, bridging contract law, trust law.
Thing in court, they turned around to me in court when I said I was the executive beneficiary, and she turned around and she said, "Oh, so you're the trustee?" And I went, "No, you're the trustee."
Yep, fiduciary duty and fiduciary responsibility. So this is another thing, because you're going to trust meeting. Now the thing is, the public courts cannot hurt the man or woman. They can only deal with the legal title. And I actually admitted in court of record just a couple of weeks ago with another court case. I got one of these hardcore magistrate, and he just started mumbling after that. And I said, look, I know what's going on. I am the living woman. You cannot hear my case here in the public court, okay? Because you can just deal with the A4 paper, and that's the birth certificate. And another thing which you can come against them under the Corporation Act 2001, Section 283, AC, CC, and BD, they have to disclose if they want you to be the trustee. Now, there is ways if they appoint you as a trustee. Carl is very good with this stuff, using the Trustee Act 1925. I haven't looked into that one because I just want to stay the beneficiary and the executor office of that estate. And this is basically what's happening. So I'm getting my head around it. Does make sense because we're not showing up. So when you turn 18 till the age of 25, we're supposed to go to the BDM. Hey guys, we are here. We're not lost in the sea, and we're claiming back all right.
No. Did you say BBM? What?
BDM, birth death marriages. Sorry.
Birth marriages. Yeah, that's all right. Just
birth death marriages.
Confirm for everybody else what we're talking about.
Yeah. Sorry. And that's the birth death marriages. Okay. So, and basically, they are the trustee, but they're presuming, everything is by presumption. They're presuming because we haven't come here, hey, I want to claim back my security, which is supposed to be between 18 and 25, which is in the Statute Act 1666, which I did mention in the court. And this magistrate turns around. I never heard about the Statute Act. And I'm like, okay, shit show just about to start. But 2 months ago, he almost arrested my friend, the same magistrate. So that's how much there's no consistency. And courts are just sitting all in corruption, deception, and whatever. Okay, so with the lien, shows that there is a security agreement. So when you actually do the UCC 1, this is the UCC 1 filing, you do a lien, which you register, right, on the security exchange. So that's mean you got a security interest in your birth certificate. As soon as you got a lien interest and a lien registered as a proof of evidence, that you got interest, security interest in your own birth certificate, your legal title or your birth certificate, then you are the highest one. So if someone comes after you, like bank or whatever, hey guys, I actually corrected my status, I corrected my record. Okay, there is the lien, and this is actually your evidence. And this is what this guy is actually explaining. It does make sense, because I think I was talking, I can't remember who did I talk to, but I have to call this guy who's actually very good with UCC, because he's been pushing me for a couple of months. I have to do it, but I'm not comprehending it. And I'm the same stage, Andy, where you are, because if you don't comprehend the UCC, it can put you in trouble. And when you're filing it, you must do it properly.
I've started filling it in 3 times, and I've filled it in 3 times, and I think I'm correct. And then I get some boxes. What do I tick? What do I tick? Oh shit! I haven't got a clue what I tick here. And I've just spoken with Jeanette, and I'm going to get a time with her tomorrow afternoon. She's free tomorrow afternoon, so I'm going to do it tomorrow afternoon with her on Zoom while we're on my screen share. But it scares the shit out of me, because if you get it wrong, you get it wrong, and you can't even if you redo it on a UCC3, it's still going to be there on the records. And I don't want to get it wrong the first time. I'd rather get it right, do it once, do it right.
Yeah, and you have to do it right in the first time. So that's what this guy was saying. Now Sean knows how to do UCC filing as well. Sean he's from Western Australia as well.
No, Sean,
and this is the
beautiful.
Sean Edward. And this is the YouTube link. Now he's got part 1 till part 20. I would honestly strongly suggest you, even if it's not resonating with you, this process, I would strongly suggest you to listen a few times, because I'm the same. What are you saying, Andy? I have to go through. I'm naturally writing down, making notes as I'm listening, and I stop the recording and I go back and I listen again, because that's how you can basically get it. It's a lot of information, of course. And now I'm finally getting this UCC and security agreement, because everything is security.
Yeah.
And what's happening now, everything is uneven exchange. Like the loan, it's already got paid from your security. And when
I could say that to someone, a judge, and she just turns around and go, "Oh, where'd you get that from?" And I turn around and say, "Well, I've checked on fidelity.com what my birth certificate's worth," and she just
as Amber just writing that she has done it. It's interesting, because we got someone's doing it right now. Return your securities process, reclaim your securities, and basically, yes, we did use the Treasurer of Australia. Now they kept the security agreement from the 40 pages. Jim Chalmers, he actually sent back only 10 pages. So my birth was returned from Treasury. Okay, that's happened the same 3 times, and I did do the PPSR under UCC. You did the PPSR. Okay.
All
right.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I've only done a PPSR. I haven't done a UCC one yet. What? Frigging nightmare. We know there's so much wrong, and it's just like, how much do we have to frigging learn to get through this shit?
I think we need the numbers, like having the numbers as well, and smashing them in hardcore. Like it's just and it's a lot. Like I've been doing this for 2 years now, and like intensively. 2021 September, actually, that's when I started noticing ATO, New South Wales Police, Revenue New South Wales Council. I just went 5 every single month, like noticing, and it just like they were trying, and courts and everything. It was just like, and now after 2 years, I'm getting to the stage, like I think they're getting it, like where I'm coming from. So, but it's a lot of work, and like standing on your grounds, because they want to exhaust you. And but I think this security agreement and having it registered, your interest about your birth certificate, this is crucial. But again, I think it all comes down to numbers, And no matter what we're doing, we need to stand on that paperwork and knowledge, which anytime I talk to anyone who's very knowledgeable, that's what they're saying. You can do the best paperwork, but if you're not standing on it, it's not gonna work, and even can put you in trouble.
I mean, I can't believe I had a judge today turn around and say that an affidavit of truth stands in law. I said an affidavit of truth stands in law if not rebutted in 30 days. And she said, "Oh, where'd you get that from? That doesn't stand in Australia." And I'm like, "What? You're all under the same fucking umbrella of the BAR." I'm a bit at a loss at the moment.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff, like, you know, and what this is all slavery, like, it's just like,
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a look at that website?
Oh yes. Okay, let me just post it up.
Do you want to? I've done open screen share, so if you want to put it up on yours, I'm happy for you to sort of whiz through and see what you can. You've probably had a look at it. I haven't had a look at it yet.
I just looked at it roughly. I was going to actually ask my friend to come on. Because what is it? That's from UK.
I'm just popping the chat and the participants out to another screen so I can spread the big screen. There you go. They look like a very interesting site. There was a lot more on there than Fidelity. Last time I looked at Fidelity was probably 6 or 7 years ago. I looked at my birth certificate. It was worth 350 million in with a group of 6 other people.
Oh wow.
So I don't know what it's worth now. It's a lot more difficult to search it on fidelity.com now. It used to be reasonably accessible when I first started looking, but that was Nicholas Steffen put me onto that, who's a friend of Michael Nibbs.
Oh, Nibbs. Oh, yep.
You know Michael. Yeah, I've had a chat with Michael as well. I've got his number.
Michael Nibbs, yeah, he's very knowledgeable. And Dan, who's up in Northern Territory. What's Dunby?
Oh, the original bloke. Yeah.
Yes, he's really switched on as well. Okay, so I'm trying to do the screen sharing, but I don't know if it's gonna work. Okay,
I've given multiple participants can screen share.
It's just because I'm on my phone.
Ah, right. Okay.
So it's probably maybe if you can do it, that would be probably.
Yeah, no worries. I can get the.
Sorry.
Just find it. Did you put the? I put the link in Wimmera.
Yeah, I put that on the chat. Yeah. We had yesterday. The police didn't even show up in the court case, AVO, for Sutherland Court in New South Wales. That's interesting. Oh God.
That one there, I think. Is that case law? No, that's case law. Is that it? ICLR?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's
it.
Now I can't see it.
Yeah, so there's the Hargreaves with District Probate Court. Is that you?
Sorry?
No, that I thought it's Sean. Yeah, it's the same surname. We got a guy whose surname is Hargreaves. District with District Court, District Probate Court, District Probate Court. I thought it's only the Supreme Court can deal with the probates. Like in New South Wales, only the Supreme Court can deal with that.
Okay. So what are we going to search on here? What do you want me to click?
Maybe that probate one is going to be because that's more related to the estate. Subject matter: registration of births and deaths, birth certificate amendment. Okay, that's It was last year, 27th of June, 2022.
Subject matter.
Does it open?
That is it. It's all the subject matter you get. Registration of births and deaths.
So if you click on the green, is it going to open it or not?
Okay.
If you click on that one.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I could
Okay.
just... Okay.
So that was in the High Court.
That was in England.
Yes, it's all from England. It's on a judge civil. Michelle Andrea Harper styling herself as the Lord Jesus Christ. What? Oh my God. Okay. Oh, probably that's not a good one to use, but
No, I wouldn't use that one.
The claimant appeared in person. The defendant did not appear and were not represented. Oh, that's interesting. So another party didn't show up. Okay. Transcript. Let me just I'm gonna open up as well this one so I can see, because I'm on the screen.
Yeah.
I can't see too much. Crossing the copy. I'm just posted in this.
Can you grab a drink while you're looking at that?
Yep. Okay. I see. Alert. Okay, let me just click on it. All right, so the claimant appeared in person, the defendant did not appear and were not represented. Approved judgment. Okay, digital transcript, Judge Hook. QC. Is that council's? What is that QC? Is that council? Does anyone know what is that? QC lawyers, no? Judge Hodge, QC.
That's not Queen's Counsel.
Oh, yes, that's it. That's what I was, Queen Counsel. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's interesting. This is my extemporary judgment on a claim proceeding in the business and property courts in Manchester under claim number, blah, blah, blah. The claimant was born on 29th of April, 1966, and her birth was registered in the name she was given by her parents of Michelle Andrea Derrick. She subsequently married and became known as Michelle Andrea Hargress on 23rd of September 2017. She was apparently baptized by Eric Rouse when she was given the name Conventrana. She changed her name on 22nd November 2021. Oh my God. To Jesus Christ. Oh. Okay. And this claim is brought in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. The defendants are the District Probate Court lessors, revisioners, and the tenants in possession of the persons respectively. Okay. Can you see the screen? Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm moving it down as you're speaking. You're on point 3.
Okay. Yes. The claim form places reliance upon a statute, the statute KVX 1666. That was an act apparently introduced to address the specific problem of cases where property was held on trust for a life estate and the life tenant had gone abroad and was apparently deceased, but there was no proof of that fact. Yeah. I must confess to being totally unable to see the relevance of that statute to the present claim. Oh my God, what an idiot. Yeah, but it's funny that it's put this one here, because if you read Fruit from the Poisonous Tree,
yeah,
when it goes into the talking about, if you talk about this kind of things, they're actually going to come out, oh, I never heard about it. Oh, I didn't know about it. And like, yeah, all that bullshit, yeah? Okay. The claimant apparently complains that having been wrongly named, she was reborn of water and spirit from the living God in Jesus Christ on 23rd of September, and she seeks relief, the precise nature of which is unclear, but which appears to relate to changing the name of her birth certificate and the registration of her birth. Okay. In addition to the 1660 Act, the claimant has also referred me to the legislation concerning the registration of births, marriages, and deaths, specifically the Birth, Death and Marriage Registration Act 1953, which is in UK. The registrar is not named as a defendant, but it does not seem to me the particular material, given that I cannot see that the claimant has any legal cause of action in relation to any of the matters which she complains. Part of the Civil Procedures Rules provides in CPR 8.2 that when a claimant uses the Part 8 procedure, the claim form must state not only that Part 8 applies, which is this claim form does, but it must also identify the question which the claimant wants the court to decide, or the remedy that she's seeking, and the legal basis for her claim to that remedy. It is very difficult to discern what particular question is sought to be answered, or what relief is sought, but it appears to be some change in the name in which the claimant was registered at the date of birth, because she has since been baptized, and that changed her name to Jesus Christ.
That's a bit daring, isn't it?
I know, it's I don't know. Do you know what actually came in? I don't know. It's just it's I wouldn't use Jesus Christ. Like, it just, they probably, if this, I don't know how this case went, but they probably after that maybe ordered that mentally she's not okay. Especially being a woman. And yeah, anyway. When this claim form was first issued, it was referred to me, and I made an order to the court on initiative, striking out the claim, yeah, not surprised, form and the claim person to CPR 334, CPR 342 as disclosing no reasonable grounds for bringing the claim. I gave as my reason to the claim was arrant nonsense. I also recorded that the claim was totally without merit. I stated that I did not consider appropriate to make a civil restraint order only because there was no evidence in the claimant had previously made any similar claims. The claimant, this was her right, because my order had been made without hearing, applied by way of application notice to set aside my order. She said that she is just a simple man. What? Oh my God, this is, oh God, she just, I'm wondering if she's, if she or he got.
Maybe this is not a good case to look at.
Oh God, but it's just, you know, sometimes it's make me think if they did it by purpose though.
Yeah.
You know, like just to, because why would you choose Jesus Christ? It sounds very Luciferian, like in a good way I'm saying, like, but why would you choose Jesus Christ's name? You cannot have Jesus Christ's name, like, whatsoever. Yeah, then you are she and you choose me, he, like, oh my God. Okay. Yeah, it got struck out. Okay, go back. Contempt of court. So I went back to the main page.
Oh, you've gone back to the main page. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, do we want to read it? Do you guys want me to read it through, or?
No, it's fine. We've all got the website. It's all linked. I've just put the put the link in Women of Law, so anybody can go and look at this. Let's look at the things on here.
Okay, so there is a contempt of court now. Subsequent consideration 1 positive. Expand is a matter which neither a company nor creditors have anything to do. It's concerned only the access to Kia via trust, if they have any. Oh, it looks like they're ignoring it all. Which is actually, it's in the book. Morgan with Inland Revenue Comes. Estate duty. Maybe that one. Morgan with Island Revenue Comes.
Is that further down?
A little bit further down. A little bit further. Yeah, that one. That looks okay. Subject matter 1963 438. Revenue, estate duty, property passing on death, similar interest before and after death, life interest during joint lives of settler and life tenant, reversion to life tenant on surviving settle, resettlement by life tenant of life interest and reversion on himself for life, whether beneficial interest accrues on death or settle beneficial interest, meaning Finance Act 1894, Finance Act 1934. Finance Act legislation considered, applied. Okay, so if you open up the 1963 Morgan, the first one, yep, 1962, yeah. Revenue, estate duty, property passing on this. Okay, I'll read that one already. This is content available only to subscribers. If you have subscription to this content, please log in. Okay, so you need to log in to listen this one, or to read it. Sorry, not listen. Okay, so you need to be a subscriber.
Free trial.
Okay.
Oh no.
Let's try the another one. No, it's the same. Trust and chancery. If you go, oh, somebody's listening, or what's going on? ASIO.
Bit of background noise. Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. So if you go back completely, and there is a legal topic, there is trust and chancery. There's got civil litigation, family, tax, crime, commercial, tort, courts.
Where do you want to be? This one here?
I would probably do the trust and chancery. If you go back to the main page, and you go to the left-hand side, there is legal title, left-hand side.
Hold on.
And there is the trust up in the top. Go back, trust and civil litigations. Yep, that one. Click on that. Oh, why is it not coming back? Like there's civil litigation, but there is trust and chancery. There
you go.
Oh, here you go. Yep, that one. So trust and chancery. Yeah, that one. Let's see what is coming up. Oh, so there was one, the district probate court. We got Elliot Lord Joyce consideration.
Amendment. No one knows it, that one?
Which one?
The one I've got the arrow on.
The trust is pretty good. It's just Thompson with Thompson. Presumption of death. 1956. It's on the, if you go down on the cases.
Yeah.
Yep.
Names I'm looking for.
Thompson and Thompson. Thompson with Thompson. Presumption of death. So it should be up in the top, like the fourth or the fifth one.
I didn't see it. Hold on. No.
No, go down. Keep going down. Just yeah. Keep going. What's going on? It's not coming up.
No.
Oh my god, that's bloody weird. Thompson and Thompson. Presumption of death.
I'll do a search for it.
Yeah, but yeah. Thompson.
PHOMPSON.
No. Hold on. Hold on. TH, yeah. THOMPSON.
Yeah.
N, not N on the end. Thompson.
And AND.
Son on the end. Son. No. THOMPSON. N. And you put V instead of end. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Oh, that's 1867. That's not the same. I got that's weird. I got the presumption of death. Let's see if I can actually open it. No, you cannot open it anyway, so no point.
Okay.
Parkus with Greenwood. That's another one, 1950.
That on this list here. Greenwood.
Yeah.
Greenwood.
But you cannot open it. So I'm just trying to, no, you cannot open it unless you signed up actually, or most of them. And yeah.
What's this Privy Council one? I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Okay, you can actually open up Roland with Stamford.
Hold on. Where's that? Roland, what was that in? That was in Treasury.
It's going to be in the same in the Trust and Chancery.
I'm only getting one now.
No, it should be 16.
Because I've got Quest QV Trust in there. I don't know. Let me take that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
No, it's
What's going on? This looks like they're playing up. You can put in ROW.
I just put birth in. I wonder if that's got anything on it. These are all very old cases, but they're all listed. I mean, 1959, 1968.
Yeah, this one is actually 2022, which I found.
Let me try that. 2022.
Yeah, it's a Roland with Stamford, and it was in the Trust and Chancery. Yeah, 2022 Roland, ROWLAND. LAND, Roland. After the W, it's an L. Yeah. Okay. Is it coming out?
Oh.
No. Do you have your email address so I can email it to you?
Yeah,
I think I do have.
On Telegram if you want. I've got Telegram open.
Yeah, but it's on my laptop.
Oh, okay. Email address here on this phone. Not on that computer. I haven't got an email address on that computer.
Hold on, I can put it up. Give me a second. I'm just gonna put it up. Yeah, work it out how to do it. Give me a sec.
Put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it now. Yes, put it from here. Just put it in the Telegram channel or put it in the Zoom.
Don't mind if you put it in the Zoom. I can grab it from there as well.
Yeah, I'll put it in the Zoom. That's it. Chat here. There you go. What's going on? Oh God, it's not doing it. Okay. Let me just send. All right. Yeah, send it to Telegram.
Yeah, no, I've just got it on. Is that the last link you put in, or?
Yeah, that's the last one. Yeah, just put it in.
In Telegram and Wimmer Law?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Should open next. There you go. All right.
Oh, okay. I could put it in the chat as well. My phone is crazy. Justice Adam Jones, introduction and background. The date and time had done in deemed to be 10:30 a.m. Approved judgment. So that was in the High Court of Justice, Business and Property Courts of England and Wales Business List.
Where are you
the clemency findings on contempt of court against the defendant, Mr. Stamford. The claimant's application issued on 8 February 2022, contempt application. It relies on 4 counts of alleged contempt, each arising from what I say to have been deliberate breaches of the court order dated 25th of April 2021, the order. The background to the order is explained in some detail in my earlier judgment on 21st of April 2021, reported at 2021. I will not repeat all the detail, but in summary, the underlying dispute between the claimants and Mr. Stamford arises because Mr. Stamford, having come into possession of data taken from an email. Sorry?
Point are you on? What number point are you on? I'm trying to.
Oh, number two. Sorry, number 2.
How far down? Am I on the right place on the screen?
1, 2, 3.
You're on to 3.
And claimant and Mr. Stamford arise. This because of Mr. Stamford having come into possession of data taken from an email account belonging to the first claimant, Mr. Jonathan Rowland. The email data effectively a copy of the contents of Mr. Rowland's email account as it stood on 21st of June 2013 was originally obtained by a former business associate of Jonathan Rowland named Michael Wright. Discussion of electronic data has been referred to in this action and elsewhere as the archive. The archive is said to have been obtained illegitimately by Mr. Wright without authority from Jonathan Rowland in 2013. The claimants came to find out about Mr. Wright having it only in 2016 in the course of some English litigation against Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright made an affidavit in the litigation in July 2016 saying that by then he did not have a copy of the archive because his laptop had been stolen, and also saying that he had not shown it or to provide it to anybody else. Later, however, in 2017, the claimant came to suspect it had funded its way to Mr. Stamford. Mr. Stamford is a former businessman and retail entrepreneur who had successes with the Karen Millen brand and All Saints brand. 4. Mr. Stamford.
Sorry, I can't even find you on the page. We're looking at Rowland and Stamford, 13th of June 2020.
Yes.
What number?
Yes, and we are number 4. Number 4.
Looking miles ahead, sorry. There you go. Mr. Stamford had his own log running despite with claimants, yeah?
Yeah. Claimant at the time about the alleged involvement in the loss of assets held by him with Captain Bank in Luxembourg. In the course of the dispute in late 2017, Mr. Stamford sent email which referred to material which appeared to have come from archive. One was an email to Amanda Stivler for PCP Capital Partners dated 26th of October 2017. The second was an email to Mr. Al Mubarak, a representative of the Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund dated 4th of November 2017. This is very interesting. Do you guys want to read this one? Because it's
value it's got, to be honest.
Sorry?
See what value it's got to us. The claimants wish to know it's about an argument about the email account, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about email and data. How data was taken away and ended up to someone else, and it's not really anything to do with the CSTK trust and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, this website it's about like CSTK trust and most of the stuff and how the courts are dealing with that. I haven't gone completely through, but I had a friend actually send it to me just a few days ago.
Yeah. What's this? Court 1, Court 2, Court 3, Court 4? That within the same.
Date of judgment. It's interesting they got court cases up from 1935 to 1920. But most of them you can read it only if you are a member. Yeah. Most of them. Yeah.
'82, '84.
So when did you go to court?
It was Zoom today at 2:15.
Are you gonna do judicial complaint against the magistrate?
No, I'd like to know how to do it.
You are in Victoria, don't you?
Yes.
Judicial complaint in Victoria. The Judicial Commission of Victoria. Complaints about the conduct capacity Victoria Judicial Officer or vacant members may be made Judicial Commission of Victoria. Independent organ. Yeah. Complaint. This is Victoria. Complaint form. Okay. Got it. I'm gonna save it actually because there's a couple of men and women in I'm just gonna download it and I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna Frequent Health guidelines for the complaint basis of complaint proceeding, Judicial Commission of Victoria, Judicial Commission of Victoria, Commission of Victoria, proceed. Okay, I got the brochure that how do you do the complaint in Victoria. I'm just gonna send it to you. But I usually when I do judicial complaint, I just tell them like basically what they breached.
Well, I can't believe she turned around and said that a signed, affirmed affidavit doesn't stand in law. I'm just fucking blown away. I asked for the recording anyway when I filled the paperwork in, so I should chase them for that on Monday.
Get it as an evidence so you can use it against her. Yeah. And you don't have to, if you're asking for an as evidence, you're not supposed to pay for it.
Okay.
What is it? Judicial complaint, Victoria. Okay, and I'm gonna send it to. I'm gonna put it on the Vimeo Telegram channel because it's a PDF. Okay, it's sent.
You don't to me, or
I'm just gonna send it to everyone. But hold on, it's.
You put the
my computer is playing up. My laptop, everything's playing up. What's going on?
It's because
looks like easier is okay, here you go. All right, and I'm just gonna post it up. So this is the brochure, but I think in Victoria you have to do it online. I think, if my memory is good. And I'm just gonna send the website as well. Information judicial. Okay. Yeah, it's like how you do the complaint, because here in New South Wales, we got a judicial complaint form. Oh no, you actually got it. No, a complaint can be made on the commission by selecting the make a complaint button or clicking here. Make a complaint or completing here. But after that, he want me to register. I don't want to register. A complaint can be made at commission by selecting a make a complaint button or by clicking here. Complaint proceeding, complaint process explained. I'm just gonna put up the website as well, so. Because after that, if you do a complaint, like in New South Wales, if you did a complaint, he cannot hear your case. Sorry?
It says on here, the commission has no power to investigate complaints about correctness of a decision or overturn an officer's decision of error. Mistakes on legal grounds reviews of this type are a function of applicable courts. If you are unhappy about the merits of the lawful decision, ruling may be the officer, you may wish to leave legal advice. Pay your loss and appeal.
Legal bonds, huh? Or you can ask the big bonds. So yeah, and I usually put them that whatever they breach, code of conduct, so you can go by the code of conduct. Sometimes I do use that they're dipping into the trust, pushing slavery by intent, personage battery, fiduciary duty wasn't carried out, fiduciary responsibility wasn't carried out. I actually got a list, which I usually put it on. Give me a second. Where is it? So we use this one with the court. Okay, so fiduciary duty, fiduciary capacity, fiduciary responsibility, personage, barratry, duty of care, slavery. Anyone who order any cost orders, it's 25 years jail under the Criminal Code Act 1995, Section 268.10. And that's including the solicitor or the lawyer who is presenting the matter from another side. Administrating. This is just, I'm talking, this is what I usually put down in mind.
Yeah.
I had a case when I told the magistrate and the solicitor, I do not consent, and if you do actually issue any cost order, it's 25 years jail for both of you under the Criminal Code Act 1995, Section 268.10. You don't have any rights to issue any cost orders. Then administering your all caps name, estate, when Andy is, I'm just saying, Andy is the executor office. Corporation Act 2001, Section 283, ACCC, BD, who has got the security interest in this matter. Then you can ask that, then as well, apprehend that BIAS as well that you can use. I don't know if the another party had, did the magistrate actually took an oath? So did you ask the magistrate to take an oath before they start the proceeding under the Canon Law 3243?
I didn't know.
You can ask. I'm gonna give John's number. He lives very close to you. Okay, get in contact with him because he's been going to courts and he's smashing the courts. We are pretty much on the stage now. We don't want to participate in their fraud, so we put a lot of notices out as well on the courts in Victoria and in New South Wales. Yeah. And he's really into this stuff. Like he's really good, and yeah. Birth certificate is a financial asset when it is holding securities. Please look up UCC 8 middle line 501D, holding financial asset directly. Where was the lawful due process? Where was the transparency, consistency, accuracy? Trust moving into commerce, because it's a trust meeting and it's all commerce, it's banking. Constructive trust. You can ask if there was no bid bond provided. If you ask for bid bond, payment bond, performance bond. And actually as well, there was a breach of trust because you told them that you are the beneficiary executor. So there was breach of trust if they appointed you as a trustee. I think it's Canada got 14 years jail for breach of trust. USA got 10 years jail. And I don't know how many years here if you breach trust law. But there's jail time. Pushing slavery, jail time, 25 years jail. So if you do not consent for the proceedings. And when you're done the judicial complaint, in here, like in New South Wales, we have to do, how do you call it? With the Justice of Peace needs to sign it. And when you're done it, you cannot have the same magistrates again. If you would have it here, usually they have to dismiss the case, but you're never going to have the same magistrate again because the double jeopardy. And even if you go as a court observer, this is my experience, and it's happened. It's a true story. I'm not making it up. And I actually had 2 magistrates. So far I put 7 magistrates on notice, 1 in Queensland, not notice, judicial complaint, 1 in Queensland, 6 here in New South Wales. And 2 of them that I actually went back as a court observer and basically watching them, that how they're performing, they dismissed the case and discharged the case. So that was very interesting, and they behaved like really good, and they were just like a bloody lamb. So, yeah.
Interesting.
So the judicial complaint, it's very, very important. The more, because if you do 3 judicial complaint, not you must have three men and women. If in 1 year they get 3 judicial complaint, they can lose the identity insurance. Now, another thing what you can do, figure out where this magistrate registered. Either she's a bar association member, you can report it to her there as well. Or in New South Wales, I know judges and magistrates are not secured. They got the insurance with iCare, similar to New South Wales Police Force. I don't know in Victoria who they got insured by, but that's another one. It's a good one to figure out and lodge a claim. That if they got 3 in a year, they can lose the identity insurance. If they lose the identity insurance, they cannot work in the profession anymore because no one is going to give them the insurance.
Mm.
And another one, these agents like the magistrate, registrar, police, and whatever the sheriff is, if the sheriff's going to come out, I'm just saying, they need to have the thorough registration statement, which is a 7 pages document. As we are all registered in America, they will need to have it. And the ASIC 418 form and the ASIC 402, 403, 404, 405, they need to be registered with ASIC and with the foreign agency. If they don't have it, if you lodge a claim, so you can lodge the claim only after the case finished. There's a guy actually doing it in Queensland, and the payout that you get, it's 3 times more with the thorough registration statement. I'm gonna put it up on the WinLaw.
Good. You whizzed through it so yeah, me. I don't know, you've hold so much information in your head, to be honest.
Just because 2 years in the courts, I just learned so much. It's just crazy. Someone is listening or conversation. I cannot send you through this foreign registration statement. Oh my God. Wow.
Send it on.
I might have to email it because it's on my computer. Oh no, just my group. I cannot send it to my group. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Yep, I'm sending it now. So this is a great document. You can actually use it with the police as well. Just ask them if they got the foreign registration statement. Because all the police officer, policy enforcers, they should have it, but they don't have it. Yeah. Just posted on Telegram.
I just looked at your Signal number and the number I got on the phone that rang earlier, and they're the same one. Have you got your Signal account through somebody else's phone?
Yeah. No, it's my phone. I got 2 phones. Sorry. I got one for the governmental agencies and I got one for myself. Yeah. Okay. So this is the thorough registration statement.
Are you popping that on Wimmer Law, are you?
Yeah, I just put it there. It should come up. Yeah, it came up. Yep. I put it up on my Telegram channel as well. If anyone missed it out, let's have fun and learn. Just in case if anyone missed it out. Yeah. So they all should have it. All the foreign agencies, police officers, magistrates, because they're all working for a foreign agent.
Yeah.
And they were registered in America with the CIK numbers. Everything is security. Everything is security. And this is another thing which I learned today. This is so fascinating. You know, your automobile, when you buy it, right? That one actually got NVIS, which is called, what is it? So there's one is the manufacturer certificate of warrant. Another one is the which is with the government. So as soon as the automobile is produced, right, the government, the so-called government, they got the original title. So what's happening when you buy the car? They're presuming again that you haven't done your securities, right? And you don't know about this. And you buy the car, but the car is not really yours because it's already, the original title is with the government. I'm trying to find exactly, because I did write it down today. And I just find that this was just very interesting.
Yeah, I imported 2 cars when I came. So they wouldn't have the original manufacturer's documents for either of those. Now, one of those cars I've never registered since I've been in Australia, and it's a home-built kit car. I wonder how I'd go with that. I could probably make my own registration through the UPU for it.
Yeah, so you can do it on PPSR. So it's called the Manufacturer Certificate of Warrant, or called the New Vehicle Information Statement. So if it hasn't been registered at all, what you're just saying, it's similar like to your live board record, the Manufacturer Certificate of Warrant and New Vehicle Information Statement, which is both the same. Well, what they do, they register it with the government, right? And the government then comes, and when you buy it, that's the reason they want insurance, because we are we are appointed as a trustee, and the whole thing is so much deception. It's just absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of things. It makes sense that how they're doing it. Yeah, same like with the certificate of title when you got your property. Basically, it's registered with the bloody government. Same like your birth certificate is registered with the government and standing as a security. And because everything is security, that's the reason they have to be registered with the Security Exchange in America, which I was going through today. And it's just, oh God, so many stuff is registered there. It's just, but everything is security, everything. So, yeah, it is very interesting.
It is. We're in a trickery world with slaves.
Yes.
We're waking up.
Yes. Oh, thank God. Yeah. And another thing, okay, listen to this one. When they're using securities, they don't have to pay tax. It's exempt levy.
Wow, there you go.
Levy is not taxable. Oh my God. So they can do, yeah, that's how they're avoiding tax evasion. There was a guy a couple of years ago, this Adam's friend, right, went into the court. So his 2 friends was in the court, and this guy, he was caught, and he just opened up the door and going in. I was like, what the fuck you want with my fucking name? And the judge turned around, what do you want? So that's it. The case got dismissed. What the fuck you want with my fucking name? Oh God. Oh. I have to talk to John, because John is very good with courts. Like, he's been in court a lot in Ballarat and Melbourne and Melbourne County Court. A few times I was in Ballarat and County Court as well, and the District Court in Melbourne. But he's really good. Like, he's been smashing the cops. He had some fake warrants out. Then they left him alone, and now the child protection don't even want to talk to them because they exposed the fraud and the security interest with the birth certificate, and they're supposed to have a meeting this week, and they didn't even call them.
Yeah, you sent my number, haven't you? You sent him my number. Or you passed me his number.
I'm gonna pass his number to you. Because I told him, you should meet up, because you're both very switched on, and you live close by anyway, which is good.
I think I've heard him on a Zoom before, but I've never managed to contact him.
Yeah, you probably heard that. Before you call him, just message him. It's ND, and the place that you actually located and just say Mona's friend.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. I'm just gonna give your number to him as well. So I just gotta have it. Okay. Okay, John. Oh, Rick, you can maybe ask, are you Rick still here?
Who, sorry?
Rick. Is Rick in the phone call? I saw his name before. I don't know if he's on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, Rick, maybe you can ask some information to Rick as well, because Rick is in the game as well for a while, so he's really switched on.
So, what's your case all about?
In regard to the ANZ, and I stopped paying back in, I think it was 2020, and we've been going through a paper thing, which paper process, administrative process, but they've not answered either of my affidavits in regard to the loan and the securitization of it, and the fact that it's now got perpetual at the top, so they've obviously resold it. And the judge said, "Oh, well, you know, an affidavit is not, it does not stand in Australia if it's not been rebutted." And I'm like, "What?" That's American law.
Yeah, well, basically, the banks and the cops, the whole lot of them, they're all just liars anyway. And the trusts, I've been reading up on. I don't know a lot about trusts, but I watched all Mark's videos this week, and they just trick you into everything. Like the banks, they don't even have money. Like,
Yeah.
they just send you digits. Everything's just a lie, you know. But I'm like you, and John's the same. You just try and get out of everything, and so they're trying to take your property. Is that it?
Yeah, basically.
Well, see, we're supposed to do a boundary photo of your property.
I've got a meets and bounds survey of the property.
Yeah, you don't. You can just go on to Zoom, you know, the
Google Earth or something
Google
like that.
Zoom,
Yeah.
and just get the four corner posts of your property, register, and then put it in one of the papers in the notices. Has anyone got a claim against this property? And if you can hang out 1 year and 1 day and no one's made a claim against it, it's yours.
I haven't got that long, mate. I got to the 4th of August.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, look, I'm not the man.
No.
I've taken in too much information in such a small head. But yeah, my thing is I just don't want to contract with anyone.
No.
Just return to sender, because if you contract, well, you make a trust.
So how about a special trust deposit?
What?
Special trust deposit with a promissory note.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Something I could do, I could come to Melbourne and drop a promissory note in their door.
Well, why not give a crack? Or how about another thing?
The thing is, and I'm increasing the debt. That's what does me. At the end of the day, if you make a promissory note, you increase the debt. If you write it off your trust, then you're not increasing the debt. And it annoys me that they want you to increase the debt.
So have you done promissory note before? Have you done a promissory note?
I made a promissory note up, which was the amount they were sort of asking for previously, but I didn't use it. I was going to use it as and when the sheriff came and give them the promissory note.
Oh, okay. So you have to use that.
And the sheriffs haven't got any jurisdiction here anymore.
Go on, tell me why.
Because Mark's I'd be, if I was you, I'd be contacting Hugh Vietno. He's the Hugh Vietno. He is the Federal Postal Court judge in Australia.
Is that the Chinese guy?
Yeah.
What was his name? Hugh, what?
Just Google "your mortgage gone." Your mortgage gone.
Yeah.
And you can pay for an hour Zoom with him. It's like $600, or half an hour Zoom, which is cheaper. But you just make a booking and you talk with him. He's the man that can make all this stuff happen, go away.
That's interesting. And after you've paid your money, can you please share the information with us?
What after you pay it to Hugh?
Oh, well, maybe if we all chip in, happy to do that too. Yeah, that's right.
It's a lot of this stuff is intellectual property, and you got to pay for it. You know what I mean? And that's how it works. That's how these guys with the knowledge keep the knowledge.
That's
they can't. They're not corporations. They can't just print money, right?
Yeah. No, I know that. I mean, look, every bit of work that you've all done, I'd pay for that advice. I'm just a sort of a truck driver who has a bit of an interest about this in my spare time, and I'd pay for your advice.
Well, it'd be rude not to subscribe, wouldn't it? Really?
Well, I've got information that it's intellectual property. You know what I mean? But basically, yeah, you just don't contract with these guys. Return to sender. But yeah, where you're at, Hugh will be your best bet, and the courts won't want to contract with him. That's how good he is.
I didn't know that.
Didn't know what?
I didn't know that he's a master in.
I've been telling you this for a bloody year or more. Your mortgage gone, Hugh Vietno. He's the Federal Postal Court Judge of Australia.
Through Mark Christopher, who I struggle a little bit with.
Well, Mark's dearer than Hugh, let's put it that way, right? But Hugh is our top man in Australia, and he's on the ball. He's a lot of the stuff that's been done on Mark's. For some reason, I haven't seen you on any of the Zooms and that for about 3 months. Him and Charlotte used to be on there all the time. Charlotte's in Queensland. But yeah, no, he's a very smart budgie, and if you go to him, he can get rid of your mortgage in 3 months.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who's done it yet?
Yeah. Do you know done it yet?
Not really, but if you go on his site, you can go on to people that have registered with him, which the word register is a bad word too. RE means no register. But in your situation, he is the man you need. And if you're going to pay $600 to talk to him, well, that's better than you starting up another trust, isn't it? If you go and drop money under the door, you start up another trust.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they all work, through trickery.
What's the guy's name again? How do you spell it?
HEU/VIET hyphen NGO. If you click on there somewhere, you'll get videos and things and everything on there. There's not as many videos on there last time I looked.
Can you put the link in? Because I've only just come on, so if it's there, it's...
You just got to Google it.
No, but the link that you're showing us.
Yeah, your mortgage gone. Just Google it.
Oh, okay.
Sharing it at the moment. I can't.
I think Glenn went to try and see him ages ago. I thought you were going to see contact him too, Mona.
No, I didn't even know about him.
That's crap. I've told you about 3 times about him.
All right, well, too busy to putting these mankers in notices.
Machine gun's too busy.
Sorry?
I said machine gun's too busy. Firing from the hip.
Too busy. Not that much. I'm not doing too much notices now anymore. But yeah, still.
Yeah.
We had yesterday, the prosecutor didn't show up.
No.
We put the court on notice with that 7 documents that we usually do. From Marcus and Christopher. And yeah, the prosecutor didn't even show up. It was an AVO. Simona, Sutherland Court.
Missing in action.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think we've got them pretty rattled. That they're all grasping at straws.
Yeah.
There
was another thing.
How many phone calls a day do you get? People trying to contract with you?
Sorry?
I nearly want to throw my phone away about every bloody hour. I get a bullshit bloody phone call from somewhere. Someone trying to contract with me.
Like you mean talking about agencies or men and women?
Oh, just someone usually trying to sell you something.
Oh, no, I don't get phone calls like that. No.
Hey,
Oh,
my camera on my laptop has been on for 3 days straight. I was shutting down my laptop and starting it again then. But now that doesn't work. I've got my cigarette papers hanging over my camera. It goes the whole time. Anyway.
I'm actually another thing which I was thinking about it for Andy joining to the Marcus and Christopher and got all the documents, the court registry investment system, that what's happening behind the courts, and I think they got some documents about the mortgage as well, the mortgage fraud, the anti-fraud and corruption strategy, malicious commercial.
Now look, where Wimmer is at, a document from Hugh will meld them. They'll know who he is. Don't you worry about that.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, we can do that as well. The team can put it and put the notice on. From the Patreons in regards to this estate.
Yeah, all you've got to be careful of is though that you don't start up another trust with them, because they can try and sell you your property a bloody again.
But don't they need a written authority as well to sell his property? Like, where's the consent and stuff like that? Isn't it otherwise it's trespass?
I don't know, but yesterday I watched bloody about 5 hours of videos of Mark's, and I wrote 3 pages of stuff. And after I wrote it all down, it got more confusing.
It's a lot of information.
But he virtually just says, "Fuck off! I do not contract."
Sometimes I feel like to say that, like, just fuck off and leave me alone.
Here's the remark on Christopher is he lives in a rented apartment in London.
Who does, Mark?
Christopher lives in a rented apartment in London and he doesn't have a car.
No, I know he doesn't have a car.
So I'm just
I
trying to.
don't think you can hold that against someone.
I don't know.
You know, if that's their choice, that's their choice.
He's put it out there that he hasn't got a driver's license.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, the bloke who started IKEA, you know, lived frugally like that, didn't own a car, used public transport, all that kind of stuff.
Well, like Mona said, you buy a car, it doesn't belong to you anyway.
Unless you get the original certificate. There was there. So what are
No, once you register, it belongs to Vic Roads or fucking New South Wales, whatever they are, you know.
That's while it's registered.
Hey,
While it's registered, it belongs to them.
yeah,
register?
yeah. Me and John, who Mona said to get in contact with, I got John to get his what's it called? C-Pass. We actually put notice on our windows, and you can put them on your number plates, and you can wear it around your neck. Like back in World War II, when they said "papers, please," right? Like we all autograph our names. You probably still sign your name, which is Shakespearean fiction. You know, it's got no authority. It's laughable. It's just artistry. But back in World War II, when they asked for your paper, if you wrote your name like I write mine, they'd say, "Is anything we can do for you, sir?" And I could say, "No, I just want to be on my way," or whatever, or "Yes, I'm thirsty. Can I have a drink of water?" The next guy that turns up, "Show us your papers, please. Signature. Stand over there until we deal with you." You know, that's difference between fiction and fact. We've been taught, brainwashed at school through the bloody Rothschild, Rockefeller scenario. They've done all the school curriculum forever because no one else could undercut them because they've done it constantly. We're just being all told to get a job and pay tax.
Educate,
Anyway.
making fit for work.
Sorry?
So being educated, making fit for work.
Yes.
Technology.
Good soldiers. And, I've heard over the years, a lot of the guys come back from the First World War and the Second World War, and they don't talk about it because nothing adds up in their heads. All armies in the world are all complicit. You send yours in, we'll send ours in. You kill some of ours, we'll kill some of yours. And if the bombs fall short, it doesn't matter.
I'll give you an example. I went to the Gulf conflict in 1991. I was sent out to Bahrain. We had a Royal Air Force base at Bahrain where we had, I think it was 26 Tornadoes, 12 Buccaneers, and VC-10s for refueling. I was there for 6 months. Now, Bahrain was used as an R&R, so when the troops got their 2 weeks R&R after they'd been 3 months in service, if they were staying 6 months, they got 2 weeks R&R in Bahrain, which was drinks, booze, and whatever. They overtook a whole hotel that was being built called the Ramadan, and they used to go to certain clubs. There was a London club and various other places. We had to be on the base half the time. So the whole time we were there, we were working half time. So we never got any holidays, but half the time you were always off. So you did 12-hour shifts or 9-hour shifts. And if the premises wasn't needed for 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 hours, like catering, we had 9-hour shifts. I was at the bomb dump for 6.5 weeks during the conflict. So I was building laser guided bombs, air blast bombs. I saw the devastation that they did on Iraq. They stole everything out of the museum in Iraq. They stole every piece of gold out of every palace. There was 22 palaces there. I spoke individually to people that had actually loaded 16 10-ton trucks out of one of the palaces. Okay, I came out of the RAF. I think I came back in the May and I left in the October because I'd already PVR'd before I even went. And I just had to go and sit somewhere and comprehend what had gone on. I picked a caravan and lived in it for best part of 2 years and window clean and just got out the system completely. I told him I'd gone to France.
You know what the whole thing was about? They didn't have Rothschild. It wasn't Rothschild money in that country, and they didn't have mortgages.
Well, if you
Now
realise
they have.
what really happened was in Kuwait, what they were doing was drilling horizontally because they'd worked out how to make a drilling machine go sideways and under the ground, and they were pinching oil into Kuwait from Iraq, and that's what made Iraq invade Kuwait. So this Kuwait was nothing to do with that. It was to do with the fact that the English had worked out how to drill horizontally and then vertically. So they'd drill down once they got to the right point, and they were stealing oil from Iraq into Kuwait, and that's where Kuwait oil came from because they were stealing it from Iraq.
Yeah.
Someone else is coming in. Who's this? Sorry. Someone else is trying to get in. I think I can't see it on that screen. Give me a second. More to Polo? Who's that? Marty Polo? Yeah, so
That's my friend.
They were
Those tunnels are worldwide.
Apollo's or
So they were stealing oil from Iraq into Kuwait, and Iraq would not take the petrodollar; they would only take gold. And when you think that the CIA put Saddam Hussein in his role, but through a coup in 1963, and then took him out of position, I think it was 1993 when they went back in and said he got more weapons of mass destruction, and then they put 15 companies in there and pumped the oil out at $1 a barrel to the people. The Iraqis never paid a bill, which is where we should be. None of us should be paying any bills because they've took our land wealth and they're ripping it out of the ground and selling it, and therefore they're taking a tax on it, which is our wealth. And I've spoken to people that have searched in America, in Manhattan, and there's trust for them, Australia, which is sitting at 3 or 4 digit trillion, which is our trust, technically from the assets that have been took from the land.
Yeah.
So it just really guts me that
apparently we've got the biggest gold mine in the world in Western Australia or NT somewhere, and they're just taking it and robbing the people.
Yep.
It's like
they stole 187 ton back in 1997.
that'll be the super pit at Kalgoorlie.
It's like Mark Christopher said. They announced in England that the English are going to be rich. They've just struck oil that Mark said England virtually floats on oil. It's under the bloody palace. But he said the only trouble is, he says, we've either got British or what's the other one? British or
Irish, Scottish.
No. There's two. There's two for Anyway, the English is only the 1 mile square in London.
Yeah.
Right. The rest of them are from Great Britain.
Yeah.
Or which is the ship, right? Which is the fucking museum, basically. Yeah, Great Britain and I can't think what the other one is. There's 3 different ones, but the English are only the that 1 mile square of London.
That's the city of London, right?
Yeah. And that's why they're pushing.
How about United Kingdom? Would that come into it?
That's it. Yep.
And what's the other one?
Kingdom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So what's the difference between Great Britain and the United Kingdom?
No, it's British. British.
Oh, okay.
Well, one's a ship, I know that, the Britannia.
Ship, basically.
Yeah, which is all maritime.
Yep.
But basically they're at war with Putin, Iran, and North Korea. They're the only 3 countries left that haven't got Rothschild banks in them. That's what this is all about. But in Kuwait, there's nothing going on over there. It's all just film from other wars. because Mark Christopher's student, like I haven't seen, it's going back like nearly 12 months now. He's got students there and they videoed it and they pointed out landmarks. And one of them was down the street and they went, there's a film crew there. And I went, wonder what they're filming, and looked around and going, well, stuff do I know. But when they got to the end of the street, they heard an explosion and they turned around and walked back around the corner. And here they were in all their army attire, bloody full uniforms, and they're videoing. They just let off a bomb. They're all just liars. The whole lot, everything's just liars, everything you watch. But what I was going to say is after the wars, like World War I and World War II, people are not talking about it. Mark showed us that the cross at the end of your grave signifies a dagger that you've been culled. The cross is supposed to be in the middle, but the ones at the end of the grave, like the ones we know of, it shows the handle closer to the top. And it's just a culling. Those guys lost, they wouldn't have had wills, and they just got killed, and the authorities can keep their trust.
Yeah, but they always keep their trust. Their will is only for their personal possessions. What they think.
Can I ask you guys if, like, a lot of people say that the injections, right? It's part of the silent weapons for secret wars, and with the increase in the death rate, if you don't apparently claim your CQV after 10, you've got 10 years to, or sorry, not you, someone else, and I'm not sure how that works, whether it's if you will it away to someone or you've got to, and otherwise that treasury, and I'm not sure who it is, if it's the Vatican or the Rothschilds or the IBS, whoever holds it, that money goes back to them. So it's in their best interest to, okay. Yeah. That whole concept has really just sort of come to me in the last little while. Does anyone have any more information about that?
I would agree with you completely. Everybody that has a birth certificate since 33 in America, I don't know what time they started. We went bankrupt in
1933. Yeah.
Originally went bankrupt in 1855, and then America went bankrupt.
1855? Is that when they introduced the Wastelands Act? 1855.
No, I don't know which one it is, but it's Napoleon War. Someone ran back. A Rothschild runner came back from the battle 24 hours before the real truth and said that Napoleon had won. Yeah. And the stock market went from £1.
No, I think he said Napoleon lost.
No, he said Napoleon had won. Because
No. He said that Napoleon had lost, and everyone everyone dumped their stocks, and he came in and bought all of the stocks in the Bank of England, and that's how he took over the Bank of England.
Well, he sold all these stocks first, and the rest of them go, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And he let the rumour out, and they all sold, and he bought it for pennies on the dollar.
That's what I heard.
And they do that every 10 years when they collapse the stock market. Right? They do that every 10 years. That's how BlackRock and Vanguard and the rest of them own everything. They work off our sweat equity, and they just trick us. They control the price of gold and bloody silver, which it went up like bloody houses did at the moment. But yeah, everything is a lie. But you're right. 1933, that was a reset, and 99-year leases. Everything works on 99-year leases, and the 99 years leases are ending. They've got to reset this country. The Five Eyes, which I think there's 12 eyes, because I think there's South Africa's in it, and someone else, other countries we don't know about, and virtually what they're going to do is you'll own nothing and be happy, but they're going to resell your house and my property. That's why we've got to register them with Hugh, but we don't like the word register. But you've got to put a notice in the local paper. Has anyone got a claim of this property? Have your measurements of the property on there? Well, fucking, what's the log numbers?
Lot numbers.
No, yeah. No, I'm talking about the position, GPS position on your 4 outside posts, and a centre GPS position. And if anyone's got a claim against this property, please let me know. And 1 year, 1 day later, if no one's made a claim against it, it's yours. But there's a bit of a way to do it through registered mail and the rest of it. It's a course you can buy off Mark Christopher, which helps pay for all his work. I know people that won't join Mark Christopher. I said, why should he charge? But as he said, he can't print money, and he's bound to give 10% of the information out. But if you go onto his website, which was used to be on YouTube, right? Yeah, I've read every video, watched every video ever made, and it virtually gives you 80% of the information, but the other 20 can make a difference, I tell you. But yeah, that's who I'd be going to see is you. The rest of us are only dabbling in it,
So you've not found anyone who's actually used it and been successful?
Well, if you go on his site, there'll be testimonies there, I think, you'll find.
Yeah, a testimony off someone's site is not a testimony.
Hey, I'd trust my life on him, put it that way.
Yeah, the other thing is that charlatans get found out pretty quick. So look for some
No, they
negative.
don't.
No, you sure?
No,
I
they
was
don't.
going to say look for some negative press on him as well. Like apparently Derek Ballo and what's his name, Spiros, and maybe 1 or 2 others have rubbed people up the wrong way, and so there's people sort of speaking out against them for whatever reason. But I mean, this is just the things that I hear.
Yeah, I'm just really sus on anything that doesn't have any. You've got to have first-hand knowledge to be a genuine general witness.
Well, I took John, and we went to Colac when Spiros first spoke. I was supposed to go there and be a speaker, but 2 common law guys wanted an hour each, and Spiros wanted a couple of hours. So I went down and I took John and stayed at John's, and we went. That was the first time Spiros come out about it all. But I have sent him 3 times Mark Christopher's information. He's never replied back to me. And that was within weeks of meeting him, and listening to him. So I don't know.
Yeah, in the early days, I looked at his website and there was a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, right. But
Yeah,
I know he's only $100 each, but you get 1 million people give you $100, and then I guess he'll go find someone to bat for him. Don't know.
Yeah, I just
I
think
didn't
it's funny
take it
that
up anyway.
there's no one stepped up saying, "Yep, I did it. It works. Great. Here's the proof."
Yeah. Well, I've been following Mark for nearly 5 years now. And before that, I watched all David Wynn-Miller's videos, and that's where I found Mark. And I watched the interview between Mark and David Wynn-Miller.
Mm-hmm. David made a lot of promises too.
David got infiltrated. He came to Australia and made 12 videos here. And all those scumbags were all black hats. And none of them have come out to help anyone.
Well, I went to him to a couple of court cases, and nothing happened that he said would happen.
You went to a couple of court cases
with David Miller.
With David Wynn-Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Nothing happened that he promised would happen.
So where was this?
Oh, it would have been the Supreme Court in Sydney.
Yeah, right.
I did all that stuff with the stickers and the flags and the thumbprints and the blood samples and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but
blood
but nothing.
samples.
Yeah, for live life claim, you got to have you put a blood on it as well.
We just put our hair.
Yeah, but in the early days it was in our blood.
Oh yeah,
and
right.
hair. But anyway, yeah, and nothing that he said he would do came to fruition. Nothing.
You know, I honestly think that paperwork's never going to work. It's going to have to be a revolution, and then we've got to be so careful about who puts the laws in place after that.
Well, all I know is I don't follow acts.
Well,
No.
it'll go back to common law, because the common law still stands, and the criminality and fraudulence of the
What's
how
common
they've taken
mean?
that away from us will come to light.
Yeah,
And certain people will know about it, and certain people will be catching up for the rest of their lives.
there's no one common law though.
Yeah, there's lots of common laws.
Well, I can see that, but it comes down to do no
It's
harm.
It's like the Australian Constitution.
It's
Googled
God's
it.
law, mate.
I read 2 pages and it's going person. I went, shut the book. You know,
Which
if you don't
constitution
take
did
joinder
you
with
read?
something, it
Yeah,
doesn't
you talk about the
represent you.
Australian Federal Constitution, the New South Wales Constitution. I mean, they're all going to say person.
I don't know if the
It's all
original
contract
one
law.
does.
It's all equity. So you can't
Yeah, remembering
can't
that they
have any
changed
documentation around the living.
definition of person.
Well, it's
Person
all
is
the
a
same. It means
persona, an actor's mask.
Yeah.
corporation. But you can't have paperwork without it.
Bullshit.
Well, you can't.
You got people and you got mankind. Like human, HU.
Yeah,
HU
the
means
colour of,
means the
hue
third
of.
person.
It also means color or shade.
HU.
Yeah, hue.
Well, if you put down that you're white, black, or brindle, you've just taken your rights away.
That's right. And if you're the shade of man, then you're not a full man. You're only a shade of.
You just
Same
cross
with,
that. Just put a cross through that box. And we don't sign or do anything inside a box because we don't know the rules of that court. It's like a chessboard or a tennis court, you know the rules of it. That's why you don't go into the court, same shit.
Have you got anything? I'm not saying that I'm trying to disregard anything that you're saying, but I like to see first-hand knowledge of stuff. Do you have anything that says that anything that you've done so far has worked?
Well, Mona was saying John before about John knowing his stuff. I rang him before he went to a court case. I went down there and went to court with him, Guru, Patriot 101, and his friend John came down as well. And I'd been at John to try and this Mark Christopher stuff for a long time. And he'd been dragged out of the property with warrants signed by the cops, not by a magistrate. The cops were signing their own warrants and going in there and dragging him out. And he had a 165-page affidavit. He was, because they took his 2 youngest children, had him for, I don't like saying children either, had him for 14 days. And I was talking to him, he had a 165-page affidavit. And I said, which page do you want him to take notice of? He said, Mark Christopher always says less means more. You know, get to the point. And I said, have you got flags on your document so no one can encroach them? It's like if you've got a ship at sea and it's not flying a flag, anyone can board it, right? And you got to put your thumbprint and date on the back. So you own all 4 squares of the front and the back of the page. Thumbprint on your dollar stamp or above $1 with copyright, copy claim, and print your name or autograph it as I do. Anyway, I told John to put the judicial notice from Mark on top of his 165 pages, and the kids were back in 2 hours. But I heard him talk on here one night when I come on, and he didn't even mention that. He said it was something else, and I went, yeah, right. He didn't know I was on there probably either. But anyway, who knows? I'm just going with my gut. That's all I can do. Well, during all this shit, I've met people, and I actually went to the first meeting that ever happened in Victoria. It was at Bendigo, and I met a fella there, and it worked out he does Reiki, and he done Reiki on my boy and me missus and that. And he rang me one day and said, "Would you be interested in doing it?" And I said, "Bloody oath, I'm into learning anything at the moment. Any information's good information." And I went and done it. And I said to him after I've done Reiki too, I said, what got you into doing it? He said, "Well, years ago, I got diagnosed that I had a brain aneurysm, and they wanted to operate on me bloody instantly." And he said, "No, I'm going to seek alternative treatment." Right. And he said he went to this Reiki lady. He said, "Just concentrate on my head." And he went and had a MRI 3 months later, and it was gone. And since that, I've been taught about me genie, me genuinity. And when I done Reiki, my gut went berserk. And I went, I don't think I felt my gut move for 10 years. And now, as soon as something happens, my gut moves. It's me genuinity, me genie sort of, analysing things. Don't know. It's funny how all journey takes you in it. Mark's good, but don't worry. No doubt he's got battles. But yeah, but I'll be trying Hugh, mate.
I followed Mark about 5 years ago. He taught me about the EPU, about keeping a court of record. Told me an affidavit stands in truth if not rebutted in 30 days. And I've just had all that blown away in the Supreme Court. And you just think, hold on a fucking minute. Does it matter about the paperwork? Does it work? I've not found it works yet. It's bullshit. It's just another fucking game.
How long since you've tried it?
Mate, I've been using it all the way along. I haven't paid council tax since 2018. I stopped paying my mortgage a while ago now, and have sent them many, many letters through recorded post and backed them up with affidavits. And to be told in a Supreme Court today that an affidavit in truth, witnessed and whatever, does not stand in Australia. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can get you the recording. I asked for the recording. So
did it have a did the affidavit have a notary on it?
No, it had a JP on it.
Yeah, so the notary is part of the Bar Association, and that if you had a notary,
I'd use the JP
signature on it, it gets accepted by the bar, so it's automatically on the record. So it doesn't get put on the record if it's only witnessed by a JP.
Where do you get? Where do you get a notary in Victoria? Melbourne.
Off the website.
20 minutes, mate. There's none around here.
Fucking Hugh, mate.
He's in fucking Sydney, isn't he? Liverpool.
Yeah, it's all right. He can fucking email you.
Is he a notary?
We do registered emails now.
If he's not a notary, he won't be accepted by the Bar Association, which is...
Who wants to be accepted by them? But he's above them as far as I know.
We're just talking about in context. He might be above them, but they don't recognise him.
Well, look, all I know is that's where I'd be going. If you got your pants down, give it a go. Have a read up of his site at least,
Yeah, he doesn't say anything on his site. So he asked for you to supply a whole lot of mortgage documents and all that sort of stuff, and they'll decide they'll decide whether they take on your case, and they'll tell you how much they're going to charge.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the Notary Victoria sign. What's your closest town, Andy?
City, Horsham.
Horsh.
Yeah. I am.
So where do you actually live?
Where do I live? In my body.
Horsham's not on there.
I'm near
What's the
Swan
next
Hill.
one?
Sorry?
I'm near
What's
Swan
the-
Hill.
Oh, okay. You're north of me then.
Hmm.
No,
Got
Swan
Barb-
Hill's not in there either.
Bit of barbecue, by the way. Probably the last one. As I'm supposed to be kicked out on the 4th of August, so that's interesting. You see me on Zoom on here afterwards, and you know I'm not being kicked
You're
out.
saying they're going to kick you off the property?
That's what they say. Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, so what's the other nearest one to Horsham?
Oh, fucking hell. Ararat, Stawell, Ballarat. You took an hour.
Oh, Ararat. Ararat's there. Let's have a look.
An hour and a half. Ararat.
Sorry, we cannot find any users in Ararat.
Hmm.
Yeah, so if you can get an notary, it'd be great. You might have to contact the local courthouse to find out, because they'll have solicitors there that might be notaries.
Until you get to Melbourne, mate, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
We looked. If you
Okay.
get there in fucking, anything less than a day, it's stupid. And that you haven't got that sort of time when they push these things on you. They
No.
pushed a summary judgment because I wasn't aware that I was supposed to reply to something in the court, although I had replied and said I was the plaintiff, not the defendant, and I was waiting for the information to come forward to give them evidence. But they did a summary judgment, which I tried to today. After they rushed me into it, I uploaded all the documents and I jumped through that hoop and told I wasn't need to be affirmed. And then by the time they rang me the next evening, after I've been very busy at work, 5 o'clock, I think it was 4:58, to say that they sent me an email in the morning, which was on the wrong email address. And they did that again. They picked another email address today and said they'd sent the link to, which wasn't there. They were trying for me not to be there.
Are they trying to contract with your fiction name or your full name?
They are trying to fiction my contract name, my birth certificate, but I made it very clear that I was the executive beneficiary and I've been baptized Andy, son of Norman. I was the beneficiary of the name Andy Wallace. And obviously I, break all the presumptions of Canon Law 3228,
Did you ever do your live life claim?
Yes, back in 2018.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I did mine. When did David first come over?
Live life claim, sir.
Live life, yeah. How long ago? When was his first visit to Australia?
12.
That would have been when I did mine. But to date, I still haven't found any success.
Have you sent it to the coroner?
Found any use? Have you found it any at all? What have you done with it? Mine's sat in the fucking safe, in the envelope, posted to me. La-di-da-di-da. It's sat there in the safe. I don't know how you'd use it. I mean, it's a good idea, but fuck, it's paperwork. Are we
and they can't see you anyway.
We really tied down paperwork? Are we real people that are really trying to help people? Because I thought I was helping people, but they're too fucking greedy. They take a chunk at the start where they take it out your trust and show it as their loaning, and you get it in your account, and then they get you to sign a mortgage to pay it back 2.5 or 3.5 times, depending on what period of time it's over. And then if you default the payment, they've got an insurance policy on it that pays it out again. And then they go and sell it within 30 to 60 days on the stock exchange. They clear it with the other 90% of what they can loan. They clear it with that and they bundle it with others and sell it off to other banks in the bond market. So they've made 4.5 times, and they've gone bankrupt. And I asked her today, I said, how can a bankrupt company that's already filed for bankruptcy, you know, the first hearing was the 31st of January, how can they still have an action against me? They're bankrupt. It should be whoever's looking after them. They should not be in business anymore. Their CEO should have been removed.
Yeah, yeah.
And she just...
I think you've made a mistake.
They're not under the same rules as us.
I think you've got the right idea, but you shouldn't have returned paperwork to them. You contracted with them.
Oh, so I just wait until the sheriff turns up and then speak to him, do I?
The sheriff's got no standing anymore. Neither have debt collectors.
Doesn't stop them.
Doesn't stop them, mate, and they bring the police with them. And you know, what do they want to do? You know, with the place is leased out to Tanya, she lives here as well. You know, so there's an equity of the lease, and she ignored that. Not interested in that either. So she's now thrown equity. They tried to make out the property was, and they admitted in their own affidavit that it was incorrect because they'd only listed one property that is on the block. So they put the house, because that had been advertised 5 years ago at 270,000, and they showed it at 270,000 to show that they got equity. And then I, you know, brought into the fact, well, hold on a minute, there's a $350,000 shop at the front, you know, in equity well in advance, and that was valued 5 years ago. And you know, we're happy to settle this if they can prove that they lent us any money in the first place, any currency in the first place.
Yeah,
we've been asking for, and that's what's in the affidavit. Oh, the affidavit of truth is nothing. I mean, it's just fucking bullshit, mate. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I just put return to sender on all my.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. Well,
it just keeps it hanging. It doesn't go away.
I mean, you can look at what, you know, Michael Schultz is doing. Michael, whatever is it? Hold on, fucking hell. Zoshia's ringing me. I'm gonna go and pause a minute. Talk to yourselves. I want to chat with this lady.
So while David Miller was in town, he was paid by a fella to help deal with the matter. And while David Miller was running the court, the guy got bankrupted and had his land taken and was evicted.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, Dave didn't really follow him up with it. Didn't really. Yeah, it was a non-event. He went in there and he said, "I'm going to arrest this judge today." And he went in there and he had a bit of a chat and came back out again. And nothing happened. You know, he was talking the talk about, you know, the syntax being incorrect and the crest at the back being incorrect, and talking about the, you know, the lion and the unicorn or whatever. And yeah, nothing happened. The guy still lost everything.
Yeah, right.
And you know, if you're gonna syntax their documents, they can't see the syntax thing. They can't do anything with it. You know, they're in their own PMA, their own private members association. They have their own rules, their own system. And you're trying to impose a different system on them. You're trying to impose truth and fact on them, which they're not bound to, because under their own, you know, under the law of equity and under international law, they make their own rules. Yeah. So the contract's already in place, the birth certificates, the driving licenses, the registrations, all that sort of stuff. And the Live Life claim doesn't do anything because they can't see the living anyway. They can only deal with people who, you know, people who are persons. That's all they can deal with. So if you start trying to bring the living into their contracts, they can't see it. They can't do anything. They can't act on it. They just continue to act on the contracts that have been created through our parents and through our own negligence.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just answering the text. Yeah, right. That ruffles my feathers with David. Like the FBI went to him after he come up the syntax, grammar, mathematical
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, "Do you know what you've done?" They said, "You have made every contract in this world null and void."
Yeah, right. And what's changed? Nothing.
Well, they've
Nothing's
gone-
changed.
Yeah, but I think it comes down to how you go about it all. Like if you live life claim, I've sent it to the coroner, the head coroner, which is John Kane.
Mm. And he'll look at it and go, "Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do with it? Can't do anything with it.
You got to send it somewhere else as well.
No, you can't send it anywhere. Nobody can do anything with it. No, there's nothing in there that they can even read, because if it's written in quantum, they can't read it. They can't see it. They can't act on it. They can't follow it up. They can't. They're not even allowed to.
It's not
They've got to
really
follow
quantum.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, it just says CSP. Construction, communication, sentence structure, parse, syntax, grammar on the top, and flag, and the rest of it. The rest of it's just wrote in plain babble.
Yeah. Are you talking about having something that's already schizophrenic then? Because you're sending something that's got two different languages on it.
Yeah, but the flag's supposed to correct it.
Doesn't. All the flag is to dealing with the stamp duty under the UPU, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Who oversees contracts? If the contract written in multiple languages, how can it be enforceable? And they've got to agree to it for it to be a contract.
Yeah.
Or even if it, the whole one of the laws of equity is equity sees as done what ought to be done. So if you've done something wrong and you've got the intent, it's still considered as
pre-crime.
if the intent is clear. No, not pre-crime, but if the intent is clear, then it's considered that there's a contract in place. Unless it's ambiguous or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna have anything that's written in quantum that's going to be accepted anywhere ever.
I don't like your word ever.
Well, you have a look at quantum. Who understands it? Like I studied it for 4 years and I still never understood it.
Yeah, okay.
So how's
I haven't done that, but yeah, I know a lot of word definitions, but
yeah, but even then, a lot of those word definitions are hearsay. We're told what the definitions of the word mean, and then we just parrot it. But if you want to know what the definition of a word is, you look at the etymology of it, because even if a word is incorrect, if the belief of a word is there, and it's commonly known, and the energy of that word is in it, and that's what everyone uses, and that's just considered the correct word.
About 3 months ago, I got an email sent to me wanting to. They were trying to do a course on the language of babble.
Yep,
50% reduction, 3-week course.
Yeah.
They're trying to legalize babble.
Yeah, what would you do with it? What would you do with that knowledge?
God knows.
Well, same as what you do with the language of quantum. Nothing.
Well, why do we hire a solicitor, which is a prostitute, and a lawyer? Because they know how to speak the language. We don't.
We hire a solicitor because we're incapable. We're children.
Yeah. And they work. They virtually work it all out before you go in there. What's going to happen, don't they?
Well, the paperwork works it all out. It's worked out in the court. You're using a solicitor, you've already lost because you're incapable, and they just administer your estate.
Yeah.
Or administrate your estate.
Yeah. It's a fucking big learning curve, isn't it?
Well, it's sort of debatable whether we're learning.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're learning, meaning how to look after our own affairs, there's not enough information out there to do that.
And not enough time left.
Well, I don't think it takes long, but you just need to know what it is.
The Holy Grail.
But so far, the two roads to Rome that I've seen so far, or away from Rome, are equity and international law.
Well, everyone keeps going. Like last time I was talking to John, he says, I'm on to trust law now,
Well, trust is equity.
Yeah.
So that would be the right track.
Yeah. It just comes down to who's the beneficiary.
Not necessarily.
Doesn't it?
No. It's who's got the most equity and who's being the most equitable.
Yeah.
So we know that funds are created from our signature, and we're sort of learning a little bit more about how to create funds with the signature. And some people are still using promissory notes using the signature, which isn't creating any funds, but it's creating more debt.
When you say a promissory note, what's a promissory note?
I promise to pay. I'll give you $5 when there's $5 of gold available again. So it's just it's just creating debt. You know, like cash. Cash is promissory note.
Apparently.
Debt notes. Well, that's all it is. It's like the same as a check.
Yeah.
I'll give you a $5 note, and you can claim that one day, and you can pass that debt on to somebody else, and they'll claim it one day, but it can never be realised.
I was telling Mona last time I come on the dollar sign with the 2 strokes in it means ISIS.
No, it's just gold backing.
It's what, sorry?
Gold backing. Gold backed money. When it's a single line, it's not gold backed. It's just
it's that's what we were taught. That's
backed by the military.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of the notes had 2 lines from them too, didn't they?
Well, when it was backed by gold, it did, but after that, it didn't.
No.
I was at a construction site, which was in the middle of Sydney. It was a war memorial, and they were doing a whole lot of renos there by ISIS Construction.
Yeah, right. Good.
I'm gonna need to switch over my headphones. These ones are going flat.
So who am I talking to? Charles.
Hmm?
It's Charles that's talking, is it? No.
Sorry, I just
got
disconnected.
CF.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just switched over headphones. The other ones.
Anyway, someone else have a talk. Your turn again, Mona.
Well, I think the stuff that Mona brought up was pretty good because she was talking about different, accessing the funds using their own paperwork.
Yeah,
Some of the workshops that were coming up, they were really good and verifiable and showed results. Well, one of the things that got me with the quantum and a lot of these guys that are doing this sort of stuff say, "Oh, you know what? We win, and they can't show you that we've won, and so there's no paperwork. It's just it is, and nothing's verifiable. So, and the debts still stay there. They can't show that the debt's gone to zero, and they can't stop court cases and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes they don't want you to file papers, and the main reason they don't want you to file papers is because there's no standing in the papers that they want that you want to file.
Well, Mona's been shaking a few of them around with her notices.
Oh yeah, but Mona's pretty good at that sort of stuff, and she's working on she's gone anyway. She's she's very very well researched. I think some of the stuff that she's doing is probably still a little bit off track, a little bit old school, but she's starting to bring in.
Yeah, no, but she's been putting the judicial notice in the World Constitution with her documents as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
You there, Mona? I think she's done a runner, has she?
Yeah, I think she's done a runner. I had to do a bit of a runner. I'm just about to do a runner as well.
Yeah, all right.
I just put a message in the chat just to say thanks. It's really interesting, and the bigger the challenge, the better the reward. I mean, there's ways to. I don't really understand all of the challenge. I probably came in a bit late and haven't been putting my full attention to it, but I'm listening to people have successes all the time and how they go about it. And there's certainly a lot of ways to go about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I what I put in the chat a bit earlier about there being no royal assent to the letters patent in 1960, just for me, that means that no act since then is lawful or legal.
I don't think that matters.
Okay. I mean, look, I can see that. I mean, for that reason, I wanted to. Sorry?
Main reason being.
Say again?
Sorry, the main reason being is it only had everything's about PMAs. So if you're part of the British system and you're enrolled to vote and all that sort of stuff, it means you're saying that, yeah, no problem, it's all okay. And whether they had the royal assent or not, you're still part of that system and acknowledging it. So every time you go to vote, you're saying, yep, I agree with the system because I'm voting, not that your vote is counted.
Yeah, right. So is that everyone with a birth certificate or everyone with
or anyone who votes
on the AEC? Everyone registered at the AEC in Australia. Yeah.
Have you voted in the last couple of elections?
No.
Me either.
I haven't voted for 25 years.
Yeah, okay.
Never received a notice to vote. But the thing is, if you enroll to vote at any time, that's where the contract begins, where you've got to vote. If you're not enrolled to vote, there's no contract making you compelling you to vote.
So you got Australian citizenship?
Well, I was born in the landmass known as Australia, but I don't know what an Australian citizenship looks like.
It probably a passport.
Well, you would just. I guess it might be.
Yeah, there is another type of passport that you can get. I think it's called a global diplomatic passport, and it's for seems like it's for people like us.
Well, a diplomat is just somebody who's part of an organisation that has created their own entitlements.
Right. Some common law people from New Zealand got onto that, and I wanted to look into it. Because this fraudulent corporation pretending to be the government, from my perspective, is
they're not as much a fraudulent corporation as a private members association.
Okay, it's a business.
A business. Yeah, it's a private members association that has associated businesses attached to it.
Okay,
so it's like a two-rule system,
and it's registered as what sort of company in the USA? That would be the all caps Commonwealth of Australia.
Well, yeah, everything's registered in USA.
Australia's
registered in USA.
So when they talk about ultimate holdings for all companies, and that company owns all of these companies that has all the businesses.
No, hang on. Are you talking about what do they call themselves? Something holding.
Ultimate holdings for all companies.
Yeah, but it's got another name. What was the actual name of the company that has all the companies under it?
Oh, I thought that was it. But anyway, whatever the name is with the shell that has all these other companies that are actually operating. And when I say that, the 2013 Public Governance Performance and Accountability Act on page 25 says that there's two types of Commonwealth entities, a corporate and a non-corporate. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure exactly of all the history of that, but I think it might have had something to do with something Keith Charles put through.
Well, the non-corporate is probably the private side. Remember how there's always a public and a private side?
Don't know about that.
So it's a two-rule system. So there's a system that the public has to follow.
Well, one's clearly a corporate, and that's the corporate shell that owns the company with all the businesses.
Yep.
And one's a non-corporate.
Yeah, and the non-corporate one is where the energy comes from that created the corporate. Now I know we're talking about two
and the
private.
corporate system was created basically in treason because there was no referendum.
It doesn't matter because they're a private members association. They can do whatever.
Okay, so how were they allowed to do that?
There was nothing to stop them.
But how is the parliament able to then become a political party and then be able to become a private members association, then be able to become a corporation?
They were a private members association before that, from the very beginning, from the very get-go. So
you're telling me on the 1st of January 1901, they were a private members association?
Yeah, and they still are. So you've got this song and dance.
So where is that? Where can you tell me what page that is on in the Constitution?
You won't see it in the Constitution because the Constitution's a public document.
Oh, well, that's arguable straight away. That just falls over.
In what way?
Because it's not in the Constitution.
No, I'm not saying that they've got consent through the Constitution. I never did say that, and they will never have consent.
So if it's always been that way since the beginning, and the beginning was the 1st of January 1901, explain
that. Was the beginning of the Constitution.
Right.
I'm saying this has all happened before. So, this has been the making.
So you're telling me that when the first Captain Cook, Joseph Banks charter to Australia, which Captain Cook was obviously the captain, when they first arrived, was that the beginning?
No, it's long before that.
Okay, so it was before Australia.
So we're being told one story, and we're being told that there's this great system in place that's controlling everything and running the laws, and we've got to follow it and all that sort of stuff. But behind that, the puppeteers, puppet masters, they're running something totally different and completely legitimate.
So describe the PMA. What was the origins of the PMA?
Oh, I couldn't say the origins, but and my memory's not as good as it could be, and I'm working as best I can.
Right,
but with a PMA is a private members association. So for argument's sake, this group here is a private members association, just by gathering. If we create our own rules and our own system, then only we have to follow them, and no one else needs to follow them. But even because it's a private group, nobody else needs to know what our brief is. But the great thing about a PMA
is actually fraud to the Constitution.
No.
Why? Where does it say that a PMA is part of the Constitution?
It's not.
Well, exactly.
The Constitution,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
The Constitution was created by a PMA.
Well, no, it was created by the men and women of the Commonwealth.
Of the Commonwealth. It was a group of men and women who got together and created a bunch of rules.
Yeah, and
that's what a PMA does
with Queen Victoria.
Yeah,
and
that's what a PMA does.
And forward.
Now, right. you don't have you didn't sign the Constitution.
Okay. Look, I'd just like to see more information on the PMA because, who are they? What's their name? How many members are there? And otherwise it's all smoke and mirrors.
There's millions of PMAs.
Yeah, I understand. But what was the PMA that started the Commonwealth of Australia, and then used smoke, mirrors, treason and fraud to create a corporation and is running businesses? Who are they? You can't just say they're a PMA. I mean, are they the Fabians? Are they the Illuminati? Are they a bunch of bankers? Like whoever they are is running the international banker settlements.
We're going by the Queen of Australia now, aren't we? So that all should be...
No, the Queen of Australia is just fucking bullshit. I mean, it's, whether it's Bob Hawke or whether it's a
Molly Meldrum,
a corporation or fucking Ricardo Bozzi's sister or whoever.
Yeah.
But there's no such thing. But I mean, I'd just like to get a bit more information, and maybe I'll do my own research. And who is the PMA, and why is it important? They've certainly got no more authority than you and I, as far as I'm concerned. If you want to give your, things could prove me wrong, then please do.
Okay, so if you apply to pay tax, so you get an ABN, an ACN, a TFN, and you get any of those, that's where you're
Contracting.
That's where you're contracting, and you agree to fulfill your tax obligations. Before those contracts are created, you don't have any tax obligations. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's the same. So when you come as an Australian citizen, then you agree to be bound by that system of the Australian, the company known as Australia. And then by default, you agree to all the rules that they tell you you've got to agree to. However, those rules don't apply to the people who created the rules. They've got their own set of rules that you can't see, that you've got no privy to. So you see these politicians that are doing treasonous stuff every day. They're ruining people's lives. They're taking people's money. They're misappropriating funds. By all that.
Stealing children, covering up for
stealing children,
murder,
pedophile,
basically.
all of that sort of stuff, and they're going scot-free. Why is that? Because they're not part of the. They don't have to follow the acts. They don't have to follow any of that because they haven't signed up to that. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying the system is set up like that. So we see them as being accountable, but they're not. They're only accountable to their own rules. Like if you're a politician, you go into politics, you've got to sign an agreement. And that agreement says you've got to behave a certain way and you can't expose anything and you've got to do all that sort of stuff. And if you don't, you're going to get in the shit. That's why Pauline Hanson ended up getting in the shit.
All right. What is that agreement?
Well, to protect the Bar Association and to protect the Private Members Association rules and follow the rules that they give them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so the best place to find it, if you want to do a bit of research, is The Law of Nations by Patel.
Right.
I'll see if I can find a link for you. I mean, you can find it easy enough online, but I might have hopefully I'll put it in my somewhere. No, I'll just do a quick search online. I'll get the PDF.
Yeah, I just find it all really interesting, as we learn more. And
yeah, and for me, it sort of blew the lid off when I was thinking, okay, what's really going on here? And how do they get away with everything they get away with? And it's the Law of Nations, really puts into perspective is that, and you can see, we've got a great teacher that showed us some things in these old videos that you can have a look at from people who have shared this information with us. And he's got access to that. He's up sharing it. Okay, I found the link. It's 541 pages long. There's a lot of fill in it, a lot of junk in it, so you just filter through that.
Thank you.
I'll put that there. And it pretty much shows how they've set it up and why they've set up that way. And
does that apply to all nations?
Yeah, it's international.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at that's why we always attach either a flag or a stamp, but mostly a stamp or an international stamp to our documents to bring it under international jurisdiction. Because if we sort of send a stamp within Australia, a document within Australia, it only falls under the jurisdiction of Australia, and Australia has their own PMA stuff, so you can send them documents like Andy was saying, where you can send send an affidavit, and they're going to say, yeah, no, we don't want that. We're not going to use that. You know, you got it wrong. But if it's got a stamp on it, if say you wanted to put something into court, it's got to be accepted by the court, and the notary publics are the gatekeepers to court documents. So if you get a notary to sign any of your documents, then it's accepted by the court automatically. Where if you do it via like a JP, a JP is nothing. You know, a JP is someone who's just taken nearly all the powers away from JPs because a couple of JPs did something that was a little bit dodgy to get somebody off a court case, and they went reoffended. So they decided, no, we can't do that. But anyways, bit of a segue. You know, all their documents are going to be written in fraud, or if any way you want to call it, but it's not fraud in their system, it's only fraud in our eyes.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter what we say, it doesn't matter what bells we ring, it doesn't matter how many times we say treason and fraud and all that sort of stuff. Their system doesn't recognize that and has no way of you know, that it's not going to prosecute them. You know, you can't get a police officer to prosecute a police officer, and you can't get a dodgy legal system to prosecute a dodgy legal system. The only time where we can have any kind of recourse is under international law, because everybody falls under international law. And they're actually following their own rules under international laws because they've made their own rules and they're dodgy as fuck, but they're following the rules that they've made. Anyone who's a member of their PMA as a citizen or whatever is bound to those dodgy rules that are full of pedophiles and narcissists and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, look, it's a captured satanic system and has been for probably longer than known. You know,
and we're just members of that.
Right, according to them.
Well,
so that's why
according to contract.
Well, yeah, but the contract is in fraud because, you know, there was never
two. Of course it is. There's no full disclosure. There's no two signatures and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but it's more or less just an agreement, and we haven't.
Yeah, so it's argued
we haven't
like a driver's license or
and on the other side is we haven't received full disclosure, but at the same time we sort of signed something blindly as well. And you know, it's not our own fault.
We don't need to be proving this to anyone, you know, in any of their corporate courts. Only really to ourselves, and you know, this is why we got to get together.
But what I'm saying is that road that we're going down about treason and all that sort of stuff doesn't have a remedy. There's only remedy under international law.
Yeah, look, I can see that, and I can see how soldiers are sold their soul, and armies are bought and sold, and you know they're pretty easily controlled. You know, if only they knew what went on at bloody
under international law, a PMA has to have its own army, and if a PMA doesn't have its own army, then they've got a treaty with someone who does. So if you go against the Australian government with your system and move into your own PMA without an army, then you just become would be called an enemy of the state. So there is a way where you can treaty with the Australian government and not be part of their system.
How?
Well, it's the same way we do other things with, you know, default judgments, where you would send something and silence becomes consent. So usually if you do something and there's no response, you've done something right. If you've done something wrong, they'll keep contacting you back, or they'll send the sheriffs around or whatever. And so, you know, that whole thing about you need to pay someone to provide a service. If you can pay someone using your signature, in place. But if you try and pay using a promissory note, then you'd be laughed at.
Right, or a bill of exchange, and present them with a bill.
Well, if you present someone with a bill, then they're not going to provide you a service, are they? Then he's going to say, well, what have you done for me? But I'm talking about payment as opposed to a debt note.
Yeah. So it's just a claim and a counterclaim, and that it keeps going round. And
no, that's a private administrative process. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about an indemnity, say an indemnity bond. A bond is where you provide a request for services, and only once they service the provider they'll get paid. And so you indemnify them against any. It's like you're insuring them against any recourse, provided they follow the request to the letter, and then they'll do it because they'll get paid at the end. And that's not using debt notes; it's using payment via your valuable signature, opposed to a promissory note through your valuable signature.
How interesting.
It's a bit of a mind spin when I first heard that. I thought, how much simpler is that? And it's just in our wording. We're still using a signature. And, we can't get out of this system, so we need to work out how to use this system. We can't fight this system because we don't have our own army. And so it doesn't matter
Who are we? Just the peasants or just the citizens?
Well, in their eyes, we would be called.
elite?
In their eyes, we would be called ordinary members.
Okay, so we're not in the. Okay, so we're what?
We're not in the inner circle.
Yeah, what do they call their inner circle?
Well, it would just be the founding members, I guess you'd call them.
Oh yeah. I'd love to get some clarity around that.
Well, we'd never know who they are because it's private.
No, we can see though.
Oh,
Right.
I mean, we know who pulls the strings on different things and who runs who and all that sort of stuff and all that. But I'm just saying that private memberships are not just this, the 1%. Like I said, this group right now, even though it's only got members, it's a private members association. We're associating. We're talking about private things, and it's not something that's shared in the public. So we're automatically one. If we come to agreements that involve doing something that might ordinarily be illegal in the state system, provided we've got the right paperwork recommendations in order, then we have indemnity.
Yeah, they'd probably call themselves preferred members in a circle. I'm just throwing a term.
Well, they could be, but like I said, you'd have to go through that whole document. They'll give you
So what would happen if the ordinary members made it known that the inner circle, whatever they want to be called, are out of line, and we wanted to?
Well, they wouldn't know.
Raise our own militia.
They wouldn't know that they're out of line.
Well, we know that because we can see it.
No, but you wouldn't know that they're out of line because you wouldn't be able to see their private documents that share what their roles and duties are as inner circle.
Well, we've got
our morals, beliefs, our understandings.
The COVID crimes are a classic example.
What, sorry?
The COVID crimes are a classic example.
Well, that one's really bizarre too, because everything, like, not from our eyes, but from their eyes, it's like one of the maxims of equity. I like having it there because it helps to remind me, is that equity doesn't. Hang on, I'll give my screen if I can. Equity. Hang on, I'll see if I can read anything. Equity does not aid a volunteer. So if you volunteer to do something, there's no recourse for you. And so even though you've been forced and coerced into getting vaccinated, you haven't been paid to get vaccinated. That makes you a volunteer. So under international law, there's no recourse.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people that pushed the harmful injection.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've gone in there and you're not kicking and screaming and you let them stick a needle in your arm, that means that it was voluntary, and not through your eyes, not through my eyes, but through the eyes of those contracts and that they're using.
So when they found
under
out,
international law,
for example, that they'd broken their own laws, and I'm talking about the think there's a genetically modified act or whatever Julian Gillespie's talking about.
They're not bound by those laws. We think
Yeah,
we're
well,
bound by those laws,
they-
but nobody's
well, they-
actually bound by the laws.
Yeah, but they will be. You know, I mean, if they're trying to cover up for it through the High Court, and that evidence, you know, is then presented before the ordinary members or the rest of the people if they don't contract, then it's up to the people to get rid of that inner circle.
They can't,
Why not?
because they don't have the capacity.
What if they all of a sudden did?
Well, if they all of a sudden did, they would, but they don't, and they can't.
What if they? Well, I'm just saying, in the future, like, you know, people like myself will never forget what that inner circle has done. And
but you don't even know who the inner circle are, and
I'd say
bound.
that I wouldn't be alone in that. Like,
No.
you know, if there's someone, whoever it might be, whether it be, you know, I don't know, I can't remember what number of the parliament, where it's a 45th parliament, or
The only way you take out
It's all
those
whatever-
people would be
whatever.
through assassins.
well, possibly.
Because they're not
That-
bound by
that's-
these laws that we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, there is no, I think you call it statute, corporate, admiralty, maritime, statutory law.
Yeah, they're not bound by statutory law.
Exactly. And are they bound by common law? No. So what law
Well,
are they?
I don't know. I don't know what common law. They're bound by international law,
Right.
and under the international law is contract law and maritime law. But they're doing things under international law.
Yeah, right. So
So if you want to get a
you're
better
saying
knowledge of that, you'd
you're
watch
saying that
read the Brazil document.
read that document now. So you're saying that international law is superior to common law,
Absolutely.
right? No, where did it come from? I mean, it was 18. What was the date on it? 1858.
That document that I shared isn't
Sorry,
international
17.
law. It's
Law of
it's
Nations.
yeah, it's written by somebody who's got a very good understanding of international.
Right. I mean, you know, it's an attack on people.
Agreed.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look at where that holds up in that international law, I suppose. If it's the superior law, it's more superior to the law of war as well. I'm taking it that it is.
It is, because
the most
the law of
superior-
war is under international law as well.
Right. So it's the most superior law of the earth,
Well,
as is
people-
written,
of people.
of people, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say is the most superior law of earth? I mean, I can't think of one that would be more superior.
Well,
And
you consider maybe natural law or God's law.
Oh, okay. Well, I would have thought that, you know, because it says the law of nations or the principles of natural law.
Yeah.
Then it would bring a lot of natural law into it.
Yes, that's right. That's why I'm saying that you're saying what's the superior law.
But
as far as the law,
there's nothing.
as far as the law for people,
Yeah.
Who tend to ignore God's law and ignore natural law and ignore a lot of stuff, that will be the highest law.
Yeah.
And the reason
I think
being is that it's all overseen by the military.
Right. Well, I think you've provided a real nugget for me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, the word common law doesn't have any foundation anywhere. Like in this room, we've got a common understanding of what's expected of each other, and that's common law for this room. Then you got the common law of, say, the landmass known of Australia, and that would be governed by the Indigenous people who of that area. And then you've got the common law of the local councils that you've got to follow, which is the council acts and statutes. And then you've got your common law of your your sailing club, and you've got common law of estates, and you've got common law of, all that sort of stuff. So the word common law is just is incredibly ambiguous and doesn't really have any foundation for getting clarity. So when you start talking about common law, you've got opinions and ideas.
Maybe, but I mean,
but nothing set in stone.
Remember that the Commonwealth Constitution of Australia Act 1901 UK is proclaimed a gazette as a common law act.
Correct, and that's the common law of what's the name?
Magna Carta, wherever it came from, or
but it's England or whatever.
The King James Bible
of the day in the country that it was written. And so
right. And
it only applies to those whose names were on it. I can't create a rule and then say you've got to follow it unless you're a member of my group and you agree to follow those rules.
Okay, so I'm thinking about the Supreme Court Supreme Court Act of 1970 in New South Wales, and it says
and by being an Australian citizen, you might subscribe to being part of that contract, or by being a person or being a registered driver or whatever. That's when you create joiners to that. But it's like, again, all of those joiners are still created with deception and lies. But one of the laws of equity is let he be fooled be fooled. So we're all being tricked into these contracts that they've created and think that they're lawfully binding. And we still don't have full disclosure because we're only ordinary members, and ordinary members only get to see the ordinary information. Like, you look at any act or statute that you talk about, and you'll see pretty quickly who they apply to. They tell you in the acts who they apply to. So give me an act that you can think of, and I'll pull it up. Can you think of an act?
The Sheriff's Act of 1887.
Okay, Sheriff Act 1887. Okay, I'll grab that one. See if I can pull it up. So the Sheriff's Act 1887 is a UK act. And I'll try and get a plain view. Hopefully that'll work. Okay, so it's only giving me titles. So back to full view. In order to do a really thorough search, it's a lot easier to bring it up as a PDF.
Oh, that's all right.
Print options. Oh, here it is, the whole act in PDF. So I'll download that quickly. It's only 19 pages. Control F. This act is, so under contract law, they've got a saying, inclusio exclusio. So what is not included is excluded. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So it's got to say who it applies to for the act to be valid. And this actually doesn't even say who it applies to. I just did a search, this act is, and it's got nothing. But I'll just go this act and see what happens. Well, I'm going to look up the word binding, because binding is proper.
I can go into it and go find and binding, can you?
Yeah, just Control F. I'll share my screen.
That's
so
cool.
usually to work out where an act, the ducks guts of an act, so you've got to find out who it applies to.
Oh, yeah.
So this doesn't really talk about anything apart of who it applies to. So there'd be an assumption that this only applied to sheriffs.
Right.
That's it. So, and then it says this act shall not extend to Scotland or Ireland. Oh, look at this. A sheriff can be annually appointed for every country.
County.
Oh, sorry, county. Not more than
Well,
one.
we were counties, I think, in Australia before we were
Yeah.
electorates, I suppose.
Let's see if I can find the word Australia in there. So there's no word Australia there, so it wouldn't apply to the corporation known as Australia. But anyway, most acts in Australia will say this act is binding on the Crown.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, but I've got one here which says the common law powers, and I think it relates to the Supreme Court of New South Wales. It says that as the superior court or court of general jurisdiction of the Supreme Court can exercise all the powers and grant all the remedies that the law allowed to the royal courts in England, except insofar as they may have been taken away by statute.
Yep.
So does that mean that the royal courts in England had statutory law? No.
Well, they would have. Well, they would have had statute, but they're not bound by it.
So there's nothing to take away in that case.
So see here. This is the Crown Application Act, and it says this act binds the Crown. Yeah. So nearly all the acts in Australia say this act binds the Crown. So inclusio or exclusio, who's the Crown? So what is not included is excluded. So this is included. This act binds the Crown. That's included. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. So that.
So,
what is that?
So this act only applies to the Crown.
Right. And that's each of us, right? We are the Crown. Each
correct.
Man
well,
and woman.
we are one of the crowns that they refer to.
What are the other crowns?
Andy will remember all of those. My mind's a bit blank at the moment, but we got the Crown, who's Queen, who represents the Crown. You've got the all the other ones, the Victorian Crown, the
Imperial, the St. Martin, Pope,
there's lots of them. So it's purposefully ambiguous. And nearly every act that says this act binds the Crown has directly under it saying the Crown is not liable to prosecution under this act. So they're assuming that we're the Crown when they use the acts against us, then we've already got immunity.
Oh yeah.
How's that?
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, I never really cared about any of this stuff, and like I'm 46 years old now, and all of a sudden, you know, I knew all about the New World Order and the injections and all of that kind of stuff because I've been, looking at it from a very early age. But I never really gave a shit about imperial law and how it's been shat on by statutory law and how and who and why and how they're able to get away with murder. And I just think that we've got a real opportunity to go after them because they're in the wrong, and I think we've got to attack them from all sides, and that's what I'm thinking about. So
we don't have any remedies in this legal system to deal with that.
Which international body
we might be able, well, probably the Hague, because the Hague is international. and it talks about forced medication and stuff like that, and that's why they used manipulative performance-based system instead of forcing you to do it, because it's become a voluntary system. So, and that's come up in every court case so far, where they say, were you held down when it was administered? No. So then it wasn't forced. Oh, well, I would have lost my job. Yeah, you might have lost your job, but it wasn't forced. And that's, that's they're out. But is my screen visible at the moment?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. So this one's really fantastic because it actually shows a lot of things that we've been learning over the years. So it says the Public Health Act binds the Crown. This means the Crown is required to comply with the provisions of the Act and new regulations. And then it talks about may not be capable of achieving it. This because improvements in structure to delivery of health requirements may only be achieved. The Act recognises the incremental measures that may be required in circumstances the mental health may exempt the Crown or Crown Authority from compliance with specific provisions of the Act. So this really pretty much takes away any assumption that the Crown is the Queen or royalty in any way, doesn't it? And then it says what is meant by binding the Crown. This means the Act covers land held or administered by the Crown and its authorities. So pretty much what it said is that the land is bound by that Act. But what is the land? Well, according to them, we are the land. We are Crown land as opposed to Crown. Who's enforcing Act on Crown land? It's talking Crown land again. Enforced by the government. So why would the Crown submit a request for an exemption? Is that making it even less sense to you?
No, I think that's really good. Thanks for that.
So this helps to say, and again, the maxim let he who be deceived be deceived. So if you're buying into any of this sort of stuff, then you deserve to be in it, kind of thing. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the system that's in place that we're all being submitted to. So if you look at here, it says common law principles. This would be the common law of the Australian Law Reform Commission.
Oh, yeah. Do you get into the seals at all? No. Have you read Dick Yardley's work?
I don't have any time for Dick Yardley.
Okay.
I love the guy. I love his passion. I love his learning. I love everything that he's teaching about. There's no remedy there.
Right. Yeah, I see that. But
he's talking about a system that's completely different to what he thinks it is.
Yeah. What do you think about the corporate seal, the kangaroo and the emu, the Royal Styles and Titles Act and all that kind of stuff?
Means nothing to me. It's just a seal of that PMA, a crest for that PMA, and we're only ordinary members.
Okay. And the original lion and the unicorn, did you notice that it went from a standard lion and a unicorn to a lion and a unicorn with their tongues poking out?
Yeah, and there's chains around their legs and all sorts of weird things. But again, it's just a private member shield, and it shows a different jurisdiction. And there's definitely meaning behind it. There's perceived meaning and there's genuine meaning, and we can speculate as much as we like. I don't think it's going to change anything, though.
Well, you saw what happened in the Northern Territory, the breach of trademark.
Yep. Well, I didn't see that, but I know that trademark's pretty important, and that's why they put this tongue sticking out and all that sort of stuff. Is because if that shield's already taken, then you've got to change it by more than 10%. Otherwise, you're breaching copyright. But you know, isn't it funny that you'd be breaching copyright on what we believe is our own government?
Yeah, pretty much. And when you're talking about breaching copyright, if you copyright your legal fiction, you know, your all caps name,
The legal fiction,
the legal
doesn't belong
fiction.
to you. The copyright might belong to you, but the name does. You can own the copyright on the name. It's nobody else's.
Yeah.
First in line, first in law.
So who owns it? Who owns that?
Well, you can claim it under copyright, but the name is just a corporate entity that's been created by your parents as a witness.
Yeah.
To create funds from a trust to help pay for your ongoing needs throughout your life, and then that gets plundered by all these agencies.
If you claim it under copyright,
yeah,
can you then? How do you
can you stop people from using claims to make money off that name?
Yeah, put a claim in against them for using that name.
Sure, you could. But what system would you use?
Well, I think you just present them with an invoice.
Well, you can do that too, and it can be winnable. And I think if anyone's gonna win something like that, it'd probably be Mona, because she's so prolific and tenacious. However, most people wouldn't have that capacity to go through with it. And I have seen instances where people have done that, but you can't. If someone breaks your copyright rule, first things first is you've got to provide them with a notice and getting them to correct the records and tell them and a fee schedule. And if they continue to do it, then you could follow through and use an administrative process against them. The hardest part, a hard part would be enforcing it. What are you going to do? Send the sheriff around to the local council for using your name for a council bill?
Yeah, I mean, or whether it be the local council or the state revenue, you know, the RMS, the taxation office, whoever's going to be using it, the ATO. But you know,
but the thing is that it still wouldn't necessarily be equitable. What would be the equitable if they send you a presentment, you pay it, and you pay that presentment with your valuable signature.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Because if you fight them, that's not equitable. Equitable is a win-win situation. So if someone presents you with a bill, then you can, and you want to be equitable, then you pay the bill.
And not your CQV, but your personal self.
Well, it comes from the CQV. They don't call it CQV anymore.
What do they call it?
I'm not sure. Dave will remember, but he's not here tonight. And he probably remembers. He's good with that stuff. But it's got a different name, but it's essentially the same thing. It's just held in a different place now instead of the Vatican.
Right. Did I hear correctly that it was Fidelity or somewhere like that?
Well, Fidelity is an organisation that helps control the knowledge about who's trading on it and what it's worth.
So is it Treasury or Treasury Direct or one of those sort of?
No, Treasury has access to it, but it's not held by them.
Okay, I'd love to know.
They'd be like the
holding it.
Yeah, they're not holding it, but they're releasing the funds. So Treasury,
right.
You can one of the tricks that some people do is they direct Treasury to release the funds to pay for a particular thing. So if it was like the ATO or the tax office or Spur or something like that, they would know how to get funds from the Treasury. But if it was other organisations that had a little bit less knowledge, then you would have to direct Treasury to pay them and then tell them that you've directed Treasury to pay them and go and collect it.
Right. Look, I'm learning, and I mean, I know that I'm, not even really scratching the surface, but
the cavern keeps getting wider and wider.
I'm sure it does.
And this is why this is how we're seeing why they're getting away with shit. because
and
their system
ultimately
is
this
set up to
captured
be able to get away.
exactly like Romley Stewart, who's been at this for quite some time. When he went into court with it, said that was designed in such a way that really 1 in a million people will see it for what it is and actually then have less chance of being able to do anything about it. Because
even if
the personage brings down the whole system.
You can't bring down the whole system.
It would if everyone knew and everyone said no and claimed them.
Yeah, the only way you can bring it down would be to opt out of it.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be bringing it down. You'd just be withdrawing your energy.
Yeah, exactly. So if everyone withdrew their energy from it, then then it would have no, energy. No.
Except that that system is our roads, it's our transport, it's our electricity, it's our phones, it's our garbage collection, it's our food supplies, it's our water supplies. If you withdraw your energy from that system, then you're the one who's going to miss out.
Yeah, maybe
it's completely insidious that you can't properly opt out of it. So you've got to learn to control your standing in it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I mean, there would be a man on the land who has no phone, is very, uses very little money. Oh, no, mate, you'd be surprised. Some of them actually. Well, maybe you can't do it, but I mean, there are people around the place that not just do it, but they actually thrive. Little villages in Africa and all this kind of shit.
Yeah, but they were doing that from the beginning. If we'd tried to do that, we'd run out of fuel pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's true. But our original people were doing it as well. They didn't have cars.
But their land's been decimated. All their bush tucker's gone. It's been overrun with cattle.
Yeah, look, I mean, I wouldn't say every place is like that. There are.
So what I'm saying is that
stockmen.
If you're a man on the land, you're in less than 1.1%, less than 0.1% of people that has that capacity.
Okay, I mean, whatever.
Because at the end of the day, you've still got to use the treasury dollars.
Yeah,
and if you're using treasury dollars, you're in the system.
But they might not be using dollars, right?
Well, they've got to get fuel.
Yeah, but look, even still, I knew an old gold miner in Araloon. As I said, I'm 46 now, so I knew this bloke. I was about 18, met him at the pub. He would have been about 70. And he went down to the pub and he stayed there and he walked up to where he got gold from, up on a hill, and he'd go out there for a couple of days and he'd live off the land and he'd have his trail and, have sort of food and, I think he had guns, so he'd, shoot a kangaroo or a rabbit or whatever he'd make for himself in his little camp. And he'd actually bring back gold. And, he'd sell the gold for money and then buy grog at the pub. And that was his life. I mean, there are, but he did. The point I'm getting at is that he didn't need fuel to live. I don't even know if he had a car. When he was younger, he used to get around on horseback. These types of people do exist. But when you think about remote islands in the Pacific, you'll get villages, and these days they'll have more fuel on their outboard motors, but before that they had sails and oars and they'd live on the land. So being in a sort of corporate court, and the way I see it is it all started with the Treaty of Westphalia, which made every country a company, and then everything
became the treaty. You're talking about the Treaty of Waitangi?
No, Westphalia. Westphalia, 1648 in Germany. But that sealed the deal, because then by 1666 they thought, well, hang on, every person is going to come under these laws as well. I mean, it was, obviously a fairly satanic. As soon as that, like the Treaty of Westphalia was actually called the Peace of Westphalia. There was 300 years of wars before then. And a lot of people thought it was good, but the freaking Satanists turned it on its head and then thought, right, who's going to control the laws that control all these companies, which they made, every country, every municipality, every little town, everything that they could, a company, and it actually became a system of control. So it, then extended to persons. The Setui v. Trust Act of 1666. That's what it is. Anyway, I mean, I'm just sort of interested in the history and trying to kind of piece it together. I've heard of a lady, you might have heard of her as well, actually, who's accessed the trust of her friend who died. I don't know if the friend left her in a will or what was needed there, but anyway, apparently there was a fair bit of money, and she got her CQV trust following her death. Thought that was pretty interesting. I'd like to follow that up and work out how.
And then what happened?
Well, she got the money.
How much?
I don't know. I haven't even asked her that, but I thought, well, if that's a thing, I mean, I might as well do that, because it's better than, the work that I'm doing. And I just reckon that a lot of people that I kind of know are going to die. And, I mean, I'm not in it for the greed at all.
We're all going to die.
Oh, well, that, of course. Everyone, but, while I'm around, I'll know people like, my parents, for example, right? Anyone whose parents might die, right? It's not just you sort of, go through the inheritance and you pay a bit of inheritance tax or death tax or whatever happens. Yeah, it's
With
more
the limited
like
knowledge that I have, it's going to be the same getting accessing someone else's trust as accessing yourself. So the trust is not there to provide cash in the form of money. It's there to provide sustenance in the form of a payment for services.
right. Okay.
So anyone who's trying to get cash out of the trust is clutching at straws.
I haven't heard of that happening, but apparently there are people in the world who have done it. So I've heard. I don't know them. Supposedly the best thing that you can get is a check from the Reserve Bank of Australia. I haven't seen one yet. If it's
There's
a possibility,
a lot of hearsay out there.
Yeah, I understand that. Nonetheless, I was one of those guys, like, you guys probably did it yourself, who 5 years ago, when some people were talking about it, said, "Oh, put your birth certificate number in this, treasury.gov website, and and put your, however it worked." I got there eventually, and there was some monetary value. I can't remember. I think mine was like $75,000.
That's Fidelity, and it's millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, well, I can't remember mine being millions of dollars, but I think I put my birth certificate or my driver's license or my ABN or my tax file number or whatever
It's usually the birth certificate number.
Yeah,
I
I think that's what I put in. Well, that was the first one I put in anyway. And that there it was. And then I thought, oh, right, so there's a bond at birth. And then someone said, oh, yeah, but it kind of reverts to zero after every 7 years and starts again. And I just don't know about that.
It tops up.
So, does it? Well, anyway, there's so much I don't know. But it's real, it seems, and people are using it to. You'd be able to tell me more about the bill of exchange.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's one where that creates debt and one that releases funds.
Right. So, for example, if the ATO send you a a notice
Yep.
and you wanted to have it wound up with
Well, you
your
can't wind it up, but you could just now I'm not sure exactly how to do it yet, but I've seen a few sort of things that
yeah, well,
I can't recall where you would authorize payment of that, and that would come from the treasury.
Authorized payment,
Yeah, to
well,
the
I guess
ATO.
that's my next thing that
Because
I
if you
should
pay
be
by
looking at.
cash, then you're creating more debt.
Oh yeah, are you on the
Whereas-
live in private Telegram channel?
I am, but it's so full.
Right, yeah. I'm looking at the CQV sub channel of it, and I thought I'd just go through that and see what I can find. And then there's another one called Winners and Grinners. Of apparently there's a few people who have actually done it. Now,
Yeah, I've had a bit of a look at that, and there's not a lot of in the Winners and Grinners. There's not a lot of proof of anything in there. There's a little bit of stuff, but not a lot. You would think that it would be more by now. Let me have a look. I'll share my screen. I'll try and share my screen.
So anyway,
so
it's
you,
good.
so you got that there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this one, all he does is say, "This is what I want you to do."
Oh.
It's got no stamp on there, got no signature on there, got no direction on there, except send it back and deal with it.
Oh yeah. So that's
And then
just
there's no follow up to that. Go back here. This is what I was saying before. There's a lot of claims that are coming up, but not a lot of sustenance with proving the claims. So this one says, okay, there's a bill, it was paid, it's now zero.
Yeah, we didn't see what was written.
Yeah, there's this one here.
Yeah, right.
So you know what I mean? There's not a continuity of anything here.
Yeah, okay.
And there's another one that says, this is what I want you to do. Balance $70 in arrears. Then you've got the second one to follow up. And it says, oh, guess what? It's zero. So maybe that one worked. That shows a bit more potential.
Yeah. The Optus bill.
Yeah. And yeah, this is a direction here.
Yeah, I see. So now take it back and use it as remittance and settle the account.
Yeah. So Optus being like,
where are they taking it back to?
well, that's just what my point. I was just about to say is that one of the things that has been suggested is that the Treasury control your trust account, and you would need to tell Treasury that you agree to have this paid, and then send it to the Treasury to go and collect it. But saying take it back and use it as remittance and settle the accounts, I don't know. It might work. That's the closest thing out of all the documents that I've seen that show something.
This bill is accepted for money for the amount shown. Now take it back and use it as remittance to settle the account.
Yeah.
Without prejudice, and then what does it get? A zero balance eventually? I don't know.
No.
Okay, so that's in the work.
There's no follow up on that one.
No, righto.
That's the same one.
Yeah.
And that's the same one.
Yeah.
And that's the same one.
All right. So there's really not much there.
So there's nothing there that's got continuity and proof beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah, right. How about in the CQV sub channel of LIP?
There's a whole lot of samples and YouTube clips, more samples.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the same, almost the same one.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a bloke on a Zoom a few weeks ago who thought, I think he might have said that he got his, took him a lot of bullshit as well and a lot of hassle. A $5,000 energy bill to zero, and I think he might still be fighting him.
Fighting them? Why would you need to fight them if it's zero?
Because they came back and sent another one, but he said, no, I've got a zero balance here. And I think, I don't know if there was any more fight, but anyway, that's how it went.
Yeah, so far, oh look, this is only 5,000 pages there. Let's go to the very end. Let's cut to the chase. Okay, so there you go. This is connected to an Optus bill. I don't know if it's the same one. They put a restriction on the service.
Oh, really? After he done the zero
Yeah.
balance? Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So they don't have a way. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, because they can't get the money from Treasury from anything like that.
Yeah, right.
Haven't received payment for the invoice. $624 still overdue. So that doesn't work.
Well, that. Thanks for looking at this. I mean, it seems like it really just isn't there.
It's rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because I dove down those rabbit holes and ended in a muddy puddle.
Yeah, right. Oh well, it's good in a lot of ways. You know, it sort of saves me from getting muddy myself. But it, you know, it's interesting just to see if there is actually a remedy.
And here's the interesting thing: is anybody who's seen as not being equitable, like they're belligerent or they make wild claims, are now considered sovereign citizens. And we know that sovereign citizen is an oxymoron, and it's supposed to be an oxymoron. It's someone who doesn't know who they are, who's saying that there's something that they're not.
It's pretty stupid statement. I mean, I think it's more of the person that actually says it rather than who it's directed towards. But anyway,
well,
it's certainly an enemy of the state, or they're on.
Exactly. So if you're considered a sovereign citizen, then chances are you're going to lose because you're belligerent and you're not equitable.
Oh yeah. So what document have you got up there? I see.
This is just a random one.
Yeah.
So this one's talking about dog Latin and saying all the problems and faults with it. But under equity, it's assumed that it's all about intent, not form. So we could talk about fictitious conveyance of language. We can talk about dog Latin and all that sort of stuff, and we can start using acts of statutes. But under equity, if you've got the intent for something to happen and it's a reasonable person could see that, then none of those corrections valid anyway. It's all about equity.
So you know how you make the point about you can't ask a policeman to arrest a policeman, or can't ask the criminals to investigate themselves, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
There's like obviously all these councils are corporate councils. There's a council that's going at the telcos for some 5G towers, which are actually just right next to their council building, and apparently people are having adverse health effects, and they're actually just bloody beaming straight in there.
It's fairly rare that anything's going to change.
Yeah. I mean, there are some councils that didn't allow them.
And you can't pursue the telephone companies. You've got to pursue the company that gives them authorization.
Yeah,
I
which
can't
is
remember what it's called.
ACMA, Australian
It could be
Communication
ACMA.
Radio.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so you would have to put a claim against them,
Right.
because they're the ones who approved it.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to register a business name and they accept it, and you've got this business name and somebody pursues you for using their business name, well, you're not necessarily accountable, because when you registered it, good faith, it was provided to you. So it would go back to the people who provided the registration, or you know, to whatever.
Yeah, and they were following the directions of the international body. I can't remember their name, but
Well, it'd be the national body. Like, it's, you know, you can have 4 different business names in 4 different states, owned by 4 different people. So if you really want to get proper coverage, see this one here. This is completely inequitable.
yeah. So a lot of places in Tasmania said no to the 5G. I think they're in sort of Hobart, Launceston, Burnie, and maybe one other. But
yeah, and it's all just a matter of time, though.
yeah, well, also a big section of Florida didn't allow it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see, you know, the towers will go up, and then they'll have all these little repeater sort of the smaller ones every couple of 100 meters, which will do the job pretty much every second house.
Yeah, and that's what they have to do, and they won't even need permission, because they'd be considered a low radiation output, and wouldn't be considered under the Act, and they'll one on every light pole.
Yeah.
So, you know, which devil do you want? Okay, so I'll just, can you see this document in front of me?
Yeah.
Affidavit of expenses. Now, a corporation cannot interact with the living. A corporation can only act with, and can only see another corporation. Would you agree?
Yep.
So this is sending this to the ATO, a living being who was not born a taxpayer, which is obvious because they're living, is now trying to communicate as living to a corporation.
Right.
So they can't see that. They can't see this document. It's invisible to them, because a living's connected with me. There's no equity in that. We can only communicate with other companies. So this means nothing. Here you go. It's just I'm living again.
Who did this? Who did that?
Well, I'd say David John of the Family Con Man.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering if he does actually have a name. Can you open it and see what his name is?
Yeah, it's here. It's on it.
He's
Proponent
really
there.
He's really D. Coman. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I call him Con Man, because it's not probably his intent. But look, he's a living being here too.
Yeah, right. So he's now
he's got a stutter
with a corporation.
Yeah, so they can't see him.
Yeah. Have you been following that? Did you see that clip from Liz Gunn?
Oh, I don't know. I might have.
Oh yeah, no, it only came out a week or two ago. She was the New Zealand lady who said that, and I think her party's looking like it's getting a lot of support.
A political party?
She is a political party, yeah.
Yep. So it's bullshit then.
Well, it could be easily, but she says that
like Bossy. What was her name?
Exactly like Bossy. Liz Gunn, Gunn. And it was quite interesting. In the video, she said, you are not a straw man. We're going to establish proper common law courts for living men and living women.
Yeah.
Corporations will not be able to operate. So it was she had half a story there, and it sounded good and looked good. I mean, she's been a great advocate and fighter against Jabsinder. She did this video Christmas card to her just to show Jabsinder how much of a shocker she was.
Yeah. So they need to be seen to be doing the right thing. So
well,
she'll gain a lot of popularity as an advocate, but she's still bound to follow the rules of being a politician.
Yeah, and that's
keep the game concealed.
Yeah, and look,
with full immunity.
I really don't think that she's controlled opposition. Like I would say that. Are you sure? All right.
The only way you can be a politician is to be on their team. If you're not on their team, you can't go into politics.
Fair enough.
Because it's a PMA, and you're joining that PMA as a member, private member, and you've got to follow the rules.
Right.
If you don't, you'll end up getting all sorts of. You'll get arrested, and you get all sorts of things thrown at you, and accused of misappropriation of funds, all sorts of different things, because they'll get you back for not following the rules, but they'll do it in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah,
they'll leak documents about you and stop you being able to work.
Why every common law person in Australia was turned off Bozzy.
Again, that term common law is one of the more ambiguous statements of the.
Well, they know that political parties are in treason to the Constitution because there's no mention of political parties.
Yeah, but again, treason to the Constitution means nothing either. It's just one of those. It's that whole.
No, not really.
Of misinformation.
It's a Common Law of England Act.
What is?
The Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901.
Yeah, and are you a member of that?
Well, we all are.
Under where? How? What vote joined us?
Read the preamble in the first paragraph.
Humbly relying on the blessing of Almighty God.
We're the people. Yeah.
Who's we the people?
It's the Commonwealth nationals.
It's the people who signed it are we the people.
Okay.
That's all. It doesn't go beyond that. Only the people who signed it can be a party to it.
Okay. It doesn't say anything about all people. It's just we the people.
They can't say anything about all people because they're not a party to it. They can only be a party to those who signed it.
All right. Oh, that's interesting.
But can you see where I'm going with it and why?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the argument.
Well, it's not so much this argument. It's just that it's contract law.
It could be their argument.
It's contract law.
Yeah. So why was it changed? I mean, why have we now got
smoke and mirrors
versions of the Constitution and they're all copyrighted?
Smoke and mirrors. They want us to keep believing that these documents that they're writing are going to save us.
Yeah, so it's just lies on top of lies on top of lies.
It's just a ginormous distraction. We were looking at the Constitution 35 years ago, and with all the same stories that they've got now about the Constitution, and we've tried using it in court, we've tried using it all over the place, and they just ignore it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It doesn't have any standing in the system because the whole system's PMAs.
Yeah, right. So, what do you think's what are you going to do about it? What do you think?
Well, you've got to get knowledgeable on equity. You've got to get knowledgeable under international law. You've got a treaty with all these dodgy warlords, so that you're not becoming something that you're not going under international law. You become a protected person. In the meantime, you're just an ordinary member. As an ordinary member, you're bound by their rules, and until you can get out of that system into something that's more robust, you're going to be harvested like any other child. That's why they use a birth certificate for a child, because we're all children. Their system. Don't agree with it, but that's just how it's playing out.
Yeah. Well,
You
you're giving me a lot to think about. Thank you.
So who'll know if we're on the right track until we start seeing results? But I'm seeing results already with equity. I haven't seen any results with the Constitution. Haven't seen any results, any proper results with promissory notes and common law. That word common law is just incredibly. I'd even call the phrase common law belligerent, because it doesn't. There's nothing tangible about it. You know, until you can articulate which common law you're talking about, you're not talking about any.
Yeah, but to who? Because
To
a lot
anybody.
of people will look at the common law and take it back to the 10 Commandments, and it will be a.
Yeah, but the common law of the 10 Commandments only applies back in the days that it was written. Like, you can subscribe to that law,
Yeah,
and make it your common law.
And a lot of people do. Like, you know,
Yeah,
you get
but
your bloody.
But how are you going to know? And if I don't subscribe to the 10 Commandments, you can't bind me to them.
Yeah, look, maybe I can, maybe I can't. Well, maybe someone
no, you can only
can.
bind the common law rules to those who have created joined to it.
Yeah, okay. So you've
got to describe which common law you're talking about. Otherwise, you're not talking about any. So you could say common law of Australia, you could say common law of New South Wales, you could say common law of England, common law of the Bible, common law of the library.
Yeah. How many common laws did they look at when the Mabo case was happening?
Well, they were probably looking at the common law of Australia or the common law of the Indigenous people, but unlikely, because that would give them that would take away from their own.
I think there were maybe six common laws that were looked at in that case, and when you've got a family or a tribe up in wherever, Queensland. Or anywhere, it could be anywhere in Australia, or they just they live in a place, and they've got their families and their chiefs or kings or lawmen.
And what did the Mabo case? What did the Mabo case actually? What was the result?
I really don't know. I just know that there was 6 common laws that were looked at in that case.
But it was all smoke and mirrors, the whole thing.
Oh, for sure.
It just made them.
I actually don't know that.
It was put there to be seen to be doing the right thing. That's all.
Okay, yeah, and that wouldn't surprise me at all.
And there's been no real outcome. See, the thing is, they can't arbitrate on original law. They can't arbitrate on original land.
Exactly.
Everything's been done by treaty.
Yeah. So when I talk about a common law, I talk about those basic principles of do no harm, or if you're going to do harm, then that law man or woman, it's usually a man, but the LORE, just say it's, I don't know, frickin' Turtle Island in Queensland where they've got an original family. Actually, no, the who are they? The what's the Torres Strait Islander. So if you go there and you do harm, you sleep with someone's wife or something like that, and it's against their law, then they'll bring you in and you'll be punished, whatever the punishment is from the lawman for, and that's the common law. Which,
okay, so when you say common law and you refer to do no harm, where would you look that up? Where would you see it written?
I would say that if I had to, it'd be either the Magna Carta or Habeas Corpus or the King James Bible.
So the Torres Strait Islanders would have that written down somewhere?
as an example, I think
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No,
because you're looking for references to some things that I was saying earlier.
Because a lot of their laws are oral customs, and
oral skins or passed down from generations.
Yeah, but a lot of it is oral. I mean, every good Maori lawman they're totally oral. Like that's how they get around the treaty.
So my point is that when you say common law, without a reference point, there's no reference point.
Well, let's use the Magna Carta. I mean,
okay,
I know
so if you say common law, so if you say under
that
common law of Magna Carta, that would be a clear direction and a clear point of reference.
Right.
But the common law Magna Carta isn't the same as common law of UK, isn't the same as common law Australia, isn't the same as common law. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, and I understand where you're going with the references, but it's almost like a self-governing determination that will come from the Ten Commandments or the King James Bible or the.
Well, a lot of it will have had its foundations there and then been bastardized.
Or not. Some of it did go through, and it was that pure that you do get people that live that way. I'm thinking about islands like Vanuatu and these. Well, in Fiji, you got these places that are off the beaten track. Hardly any tourists, but the natives go there and they love it and they live it and they hunt and they farm and they fish and they.
Our society is a lot more complex than that now.
Oh no, I understand, but
anyway,
they were founded by missions. Sorry, we're just having a yarn.
We'll be able to keep going.
Maybe. Yeah, like me too. I think I was supposed to log off.
And Andy's looking like he's about to fall over, but that's what he's like at 7:32.
It's been an interesting night. Thanks for your time, boys and girls.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you. Andy, I think you need more dogs.
Why?
How many you got there now?
4.
11?
4.
4. That's 16 sets of legs.
Yeah, you're quite right.
No, I'm not. It's 16 legs. It's not 16 sets.
There's more than 16 legs here, though.
On 4 dogs.
Andy, if you're going to do it again, I'd love to come on and actually sort of listen to your situation a little bit better. Not that I could, really think that I'll offer any solutions or anything like that. But I think the idea of, having a terrific and tenacious little go-getter on, who's taking an interest is always something good that you can, learn from, and that'd be Mona. Good luck with it all. And
you got probably 35 years. You got other people bloody 40 years. Has anybody got out yet? I don't know anybody in Australia apart from, well, if you can call it getting out, Romney Stewart. What's he got? He's hidden himself from the system. They'll leave him alone, but death threats and God knows what before then. Just makes you wonder whether what
would you need to be a hermit to work it?
Yeah, he went through the works. He took the full beating of the law by the sound of it. But
at the end of the day, I'd like to see how the PMA thing works. I really would.
Well, seeing some pretty good things from the the Perfect Portal.
And we've not, they've had little wins so far. Been doing well.
Well, they've had a big win when they've managed to close all the court matters.
Yeah.
Against all those for that sort of stuff. I mean, taking themselves off the system and not being able to make use of the system, I think is a bit of a challenge. But anyway, we'll just keep waffling if I just keep talking. But thanks for tonight.
No worries. My links are always on Wimmera Law. If you're not on Wimmera Law, then get on the
Someone.
All right. Leave you. Have a beautiful night. Have a beautiful evening. Thanks for the chat. Night, Nadia and Glenn, if you're still there.
Rock on.
And I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Night.
Night, guys. See you
No.
Saturday.
Yeah, well.
Oh, just us two. You gonna say hello? Tam's here.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
Hello.
what's going on?
Fucking nightmare.
Bloody oath.
No, well, we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, whatever comes will be good.
You know what? I totally agree with that. Whatever comes is where you're meant to be.
Yep. Wherever we're meant to be, we'll learn and we'll play. What you got in the background? Some sort of footy on?
Just the Aussie rules.
And only the Aussie.
Just watching Carlton beat Collingwood.
Who's beating Collingwood?
Carlton.
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 Yeah.
He watches footy, I don't.
I watch okay.
I haven't watched a game in years.
No, I can't stand it anymore. I like country football. I don't like Aussie rules though. Not the league stuff. It's shit.
Yeah, it is. I know.
Not like it used to be.
For sure. That was a bit of an interesting chat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an interesting chat. Benny is such an interesting person. Like he goes so deep with so much, doesn't he?
Yeah, and where's he at? He's at the PMA end. Where are we at? The PMA
Where are
end.
we at? Exactly.
We've already put money in the pot, so that's when it started. In my opinion.
Pardon?
We've already put money in the pot. That's where it started. That's when it started. That's when the minutes
Yeah,
were
I
taken.
agree with you. Totally agree with you.
So technically, we should be sending them a cease and desist from the PMA.
Why don't you?
Well, you coming this weekend? Let's sort it out.
I can't see why not. Well, why? Have you spoken to Zoe about it?
She's going to do some sort of letter for me, I think. She came on the phone tonight when I was in the meeting, so she's going to knock something together for me. But I think if it came from the PMA, it'd be even better.
I agree with you. The world runs on PMAs. It's logic.
Yeah. So
And you can't talk to people unless you're in the same language as them.
It's like you're invisible. It's like you're the
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Whichever they want to be not listening to.
Yeah.
I think we got a fire in the house, so we're going to go and find out what it looks like.
Are you putting the dog in the cage? Yeah, Cal's still in the naughty corner.
No, are you serious?
Well, he took a bloody...
He took a chook. Is that all he's done?
Well,
yeah,
still.
I don't know, he's lively.
Lively.
Full of beans.
Should have seen him down the swamp tonight. He's
Stupid.
Mind you, still meant to be recovering from his cut.
It's nuts. We'll see you guys. I haven't got that paper. I don't know if you tracked it or where you know where it is, but it hasn't got to us yet.
Rightio. I'll
In Horsham, I'll collect it in the morning.
Oh yeah, they are open.
I might not have a card till Monday, but it might be there if I ask him.
Yeah.
If it came in after 12 o'clock today, I wouldn't get a card till Monday.
No, you wouldn't get a card till Monday, that's right.
But it could be sat there tomorrow morning.
Well, maybe. I'll have to find the hang on, give me 2 seconds. I'll find out where it is.
What are you going to look on?
Oh, I wrote the number down over here.
Yeah. He's not there. No.
What you got? Anything?
Yeah, it's at Horsham.
It is at Horsham. All right, so I'll.
Waiting collection.
Okay, well, it wasn't there today because we didn't have a card, so.
Yeah, it would have been 4 o'clock the Sabo I got there.
Yeah, okay. So I'll go down in the morning, go and collect it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's good.
Excellent.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Love to you
All
guys.
right. Love you guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
So yeah.
Bye. Bye.